Hey, everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petrow, and on the show this week, you've got me, Ian Bawa, and Emily Clark doing another Real Talk for you. What's on the show this week? We've got major topics are green screen versus location. Are you bothered when you can really tell it's green screen? And what does location do for you? Does it take you away more, knowing that it's not in some warehouse or some studio space? And then we've also got background television. We're all adults. I think most of us are. If there's kids listening to this, I apologize to the parents. But the point is that during your adulting, you're cleaning, you're making lunches for the kids the next day, working outside. You may have a TV on in the background with some of your favorite background TV shows. We also talk about that. What's soothing, what's easy to understand, what can you recite while you're in the other room, what stops you in your tracks and puts you down on the couch for an hour and you're like, shit, I was folding laundry. That's on the show for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. We've also got reviews, some more Hell's Kitchen for you. That's a fan favorite on the show. We've got Lightyear, and we've also got some Westworld mid-season for you as well, too, plus a bunch of other shit that we always find ourselves in. So that's who's on the show. That's what's on the show, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing I have to tell you is tomorrow night at Assiniboine Park. Assuming this rain slows down for a minute, we'll be at Movies in the Park right in front of the Lyric stage. If you see the table with the big banner that says Real Debaters on it, come on over. There'll be a microphone. If you feel like expressing your thoughts during the film, before the film, or after the film, we'd love to hear from you. Why are you there? What do these films mean to you? What films are they, for example? Tomorrow night's Moana and Spider-Man No Way Home. So Spider-Man No Way Home is the late show. Moana is the early show. Tell us why you love The Rock. Tell us who your favorite Spider-Man was. What was the best part of each film? These are just some examples. Come on, we're friendly people. Me, Emily, and Jimmy, we love to talk to anybody. So if you're in the talking mood, come over and say hello. Besides that, subscribe, listen to the show. If you're new, thanks for checking us out. We really appreciate it. There's a whole end credit at the end of this that lets you know if you want to further enter the Debaterverse, if you will, ways to do so. That's it. That's all. I'll cue that reel. You enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the charter.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order.
Out of order. I show you out of
Ladies
order.
and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Debaters podcast. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to where we ask the question what happens when real life meets real life. I'm Michael Petrow.
I'm Emily Clark.
I'm Ian Bawa. You're Emily Clark?
I am. Do you
Without
know
an
that?
E.
No E.
Whoa.
No E. And the first time I
wait.
posted about her, I threw the E in and felt like a dumbass because her whole handle is Emily without the E.
But wait, what's the Game of Thrones girl name?
Amelia Clark.
Oh, never mind.
I know.
You wanted to have your own Daenerys in the
Yeah,
room.
yeah,
didn't
It's
you?
close.
yeah.
It's close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got excited.
Did you ever think about doing a Halloween piece as
Yeah.
Daenerys?
You know what? Like, if I actually, when I have the blonde hair, she has a fairly don't at me, guys. This is the same as me. She has a fairly generic face, which is same as me, and so like when I. So when I have blonde hair or when she has brown hair, we're reasonably comparable. I mean,
I'm gonna say that if there was a side by side, I'd have to double take. I can see the genericness.
Did you? Sorry, what was it? Our average face?
Reasonably generic.
Hearing.
Not in a bad way, in a girl next door kind of way.
Can you describe what she looked like? She was reasonably generic. I cannot describe more than that.
Overall,
Yeah.
obviously not. She's stunning, but like, yeah.
It's the
never mind.
descriptor pre-generic. Reasonably.
Reasonably
Reasonably.
generic. The
Reasonably
girl next door
generic.
face, like, yeah, and so
Like, I think what's above being basic is above being reasonable.
Yeah, what's below and above
Yeah, I
reasonably
know.
generic?
I know.
Basic and
Dirt.
unattractive.
Yeah, dirt.
So,
Pure dirt.
okay, I guess what I'm getting at is like you've got the average brunette girl look,
Yep,
right?
yep,
And
yep.
then there's like the name brand version, right?
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is like the movie stars. And then there's like the no name brand
Yes.
version, which is like me.
The yellow label.
Yeah.
The yellow
and so like
label.
so I that's kind of
And Amelia. You and Amelia are yellow label.
No. Amelia is the actual brand. She's Kraft Dinner,
And
and
you are.
I'm like President's Choice
Like,
pasta.
I think
come
Yeah.
on.
She's Annie's.
Yeah, she's Annie's.
Annie's
Organic, gourmet organic pasta.
$12 KD.
And I'm like the one you get for 12 cents, like the corner store. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
love
the
it.
same. But at the end of the day, it's still crap.
Yeah.
Wait, mac and cheese.
I gotta update your bio on the website to generically attractive.
Reasonably generic brunette.
Yes.
Reasonably generic brunette.
That's the best.
Food bank version
You will
of
always be
Amelia
introduced
Clark.
as our reasonably attractive brunette, Emily Clark.
Jesus Christ.
It's not true, guys.
It's like, it's nothing to write home about, but it's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
If she's reasonably attractive, I am dirt. If
Yeah.
that's the case.
That's
Like,
the balance.
now I know where the balance
Oh
is.
my God.
Anyways, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. This week for you, we have a weekly watch list, and we have location versus green screen. Basically, can you tell? If you can tell, does that bother you? I had a conversation about this last night with Shauna. We were actually watching an Attenborough program.
Oh, I thought you came up with it for a different reason.
Oh, there's tons of reasons
Yeah,
why,
yeah,
but it wasn't last night I came up with it. I just kind of stumbled. I don't know why I came up with it, actually. I think it just popped into my brain, and I was like, done. I don't want to make this complicated. But she thought, well, Attenborough was feeding kangaroos that he was in front of a green screen. And I was like, no.
Oh,
Maybe
was
we can't tell. Like, his hair's blowing, and she's like, they could put a fan on him. And I was
Right.
like, but the kangaroo's eating. She's like, the kangaroos are in front of the green screen.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a lot of work. Or just put them on a plane to a
Right.
kangaroo sanctuary and have them stand a couple feet from one, and that's it. Like, that's less money, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, you got all the post work you got to do to make sure it
Yeah,
doesn't look
compositing.
like a green. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So that's a conversation we're going to have today. And then Emily said, I'm so fucking excited because this is my jam. And I think everybody has come to this conclusion with so much content that now there's a ton of background content. Good stuff that just plays in the background.
Absolutely.
Stuff you may know really well, stuff you might not, stuff you don't need to really clue into, but it just feels like someone else's home, right? Doesn't feel like the house is so empty with that episode of Law and Order in the other
Yeah.
Oh, that's
What
like,
is your podcast that is a movie TV show?
right?
Yeah.
There you go.
This
Exactly.
is a great topic. I'm so excited for this one.
Well, and like you either do it with your classics or you do it with something that doesn't require a lot of work. Like there's tons of reasons for it.
Yeah,
so,
agreed.
So that's what we're going to talk about. So let's talk about what we're going to talk about. Emily, what'd you watch?
Okay, so I actually have two really good ones this week, which is great because sometimes I come into these and I'm really embarrassed about what I've watched. But this week, I'm not embarrassed. All right. So the first thing, and I cannot explain why this happened, but somehow over the last 2 months or so, I got really into watching Hell's Kitchen. And
so good.
old school Hell's Kitchen, from the beginning, you fucking donkey.
Where are you watching it?
So on Amazon Prime.
Okay, because it's unfucking edited.
Yeah. Yes, because it's unedited
right.
and it's on
Yeah,
Prime.
yeah.
And I can't explain it to you. I don't particularly like Gordon Ramsay. I don't really like aggressive men. I don't like yelling. There's nothing about it really that jumps out to me as something I would enjoy, but I am obsessed with it. And I get so into these assholes, and they are assholes on the show.
Yeah.
These competitors, they are pure unadulterated dick faces, and not a single one of them is nice or worthy of any good things in their lives. They are mean and terrible, and
I'll second all of that.
so much fun to watch. And
Co-signed.
and I think I'm on season 9 or 10
Oh
now.
my god.
And I just
insane.
absolutely
There's 20 some odd
Yeah, I
seasons
know.
too.
it's so ridiculous, but it is so much fun. And I just
Have you found Idiot Sandwich yet?
no, we're not at Idiot Sandwich yet. So but we've talked about that. I was when do we get to Idiot
Or
Sandwich?
lamb sauce?
There's so many good ones.
Yeah. What is it like? Okay, because you don't like all of those fucking things that show
Yes.
breeds, right?
Yeah.
When they first started the show, I think, and maybe Emily, you can back me up on this. Did they just go after line cooks and pieces of shit?
I feel like they everyone's supposed to kind of know what they're doing, but it must be produced in a way that sets them up for failure. That's the only thing I can imagine, because otherwise, how the fuck do you not know how to cook scallops and risotto? You do it every single night in your service.
Yeah, I think a lot of them have egos. I think they're all I don't know. It feels like that. Also, what's your team, red or blue?
Well, so okay, actually, I have a thing about this.
I know,
so
right?
It
That's a
goes
good
back
question.
goes back and forth for me. Obviously, I always want to see women do well, represent, but
Have they been doing men versus women?
it's red and blue. Usually it goes men versus women. Okay, but so there was a few seasons in a row where the women's team weren't doing so well. And so Ramsey would pull a man off of the blue team and be like, you need a leader. And he would be like, we're taking because the blue team is doing well.
Ew.
And they'd put
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy
Oh, yeah.
on the blue team. So then this season that I'm watching, the women's team was doing really well and the men's team was doing terribly. And I had been all up in arms about this like leader thing. So I'm like, okay, here it is. Time for Ramsey to prove he's not a sexist piece of shit. Sure enough, he's like, we're going to add a woman to the men's team and we'll like all see what happens. Like no talk about we need a leader, like leadership, whatever direction. And I was like, fuck you, I'm going to stop watching. And I absolutely did not stop watching. So.
You know, I've watched it. I've always get hungry because obviously it's a cooking show, but I always wanted to be invited to the Hell's Kitchen like restaurant.
Me too.
You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I get an invite to that? And I'm like, where is the details? To
We
that?
looked this up
Yeah.
because when all you do is watch Hell's Kitchen, there's
Yeah.
the questions.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the only question.
The only question. And apparently they're actors. Like
No,
it's
everything's ruined.
It's extra. Like it's so they're and then that's why you get ones that have like extra close-ups and like with the lines or whatever because those are like your paid actors they're just extras.
No.
And they're
everything's fake.
yeah, and so they like and apparently a lot of this like the serving staff that you see in the background
Yeah.
are producers.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing's good in this
I
world
know.
anymore. I used to watch Mystery Kitchen or Mystery Diners.
Oh, yeah.
And then I found out that was all fake, and I was like, no.
Or like Undercover Boss.
Undercover Boss was also all fake. Here's the one I did like, and this was before like Ramsey got really big, but he was like known. But it was before Kitchen Nightmares. I watched the original, Kitchen. Wait, what are you watching? Wait, you're
Hell's
watching
Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen. Kitchen Nightmares. Yeah.
Kitchen
Yes.
Nightmares, yeah.
The
And that's one where he
original-
goes in.
The original British one.
That's
The
one where he
UK
like
one.
goes in and like fixes up the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one
Not
was good.
before bending over the chef who owns the restaurant and getting a Ramsey-sized dick up his ass
Yeah,
about how
and
to
it was
learn
also
how to cook.
it was also voiceovered by I think Gordon Ramsay as opposed to like a narrator. The
It
same
was, it
narrator
was. Yeah,
narrator
yeah.
that's in all these shows where he goes,
And they're
yeah,
and now for dinner service in Hell's Kitchen,
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay will light a fire under the chefs. Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
dinner service has started. That's how it usually goes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the red team is not doing
Yeah,
so
yeah,
well.
they're
They've
actually-
taken the member from the blue
Yeah,
team.
Michael,
Yeah.
Michael wins. That's the one.
Absolutely.
That's how you did it.
I did watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen, and
I've watched it a lot. Yeah.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say hot take and say Fox had a lot to do with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. It's totally
Because
fair.
when you watch Gordon's other stuff, I love the Angry Ramsay. I think we all do, and we all know now that it's
but
a gimmick.
It's a gimmick that Fox played into
Yes.
more because of Simon Cowell.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's definitely a
very
gimmick
much so. Yeah.
because
100%.
if you see him on like MasterChef Junior, he's the sweetest little love
Yeah.
nugget.
I know.
Like
I've seen him like
he's-
he's on. I recently watched the Mr. Beast video and he was on it, and I was like,
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
like they just play it up more,
Yeah.
and it's fine. Like it's something when a British man is yelling at you that seems like you're supposed to be very proper. I don't understand.
It's a,
What
this
happened
is so
to your candor?
confusing. Yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
show
yeah.
because I have like when they pass out in the middle of the show, they're like, "Keep going, dinner service," and you're
Yeah.
like, "Fox, come on!" But at the same time, you're right, Emily. Like he does the one with Aron, him, and another chef, where it's like
Oh, that's Top Chef.
Top Chef.
I
Yeah,
love it. There's a new Top Chef coming out.
There
Or not
is.
Top Chef, Master Chef.
Master Chef.
There's
That's
There's
it.
a new
yeah.
Master
Yeah.
Chef coming out right
Yeah.
away.
I'm more of a Bobby Flay man myself.
Oh, how dare you get out of this home?
Yeah, I know.
I like cooking shows, like cooking competition shows.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
They
Iron
are, they
Chef.
are really good.
They are really good. I like food. I like competition.
There's
I
one
like
that
TV.
was Glutton for Punishment.
Yes.
That was
Ooh.
very good. That was a very good one.
Wasn't that Alton Brown? Didn't he host that?
No, it was a
No,
different guy.
Alton Brown was the Cutthroat Kitchen. That
Cutthroat-
was fun.
Cutthroat Kitchen was the
That
best.
was hilarious.
It was so good. 25,000. Why are you spending it to prank the other guy?
I know.
You could all live
Yeah,
peacefully, but yet they choose.
to prank the other
Because they don't.
people.
In reality, none of them need to actually buy any of the pranks.
No.
But they choose to, because they could all be like, you know what, guys, let's like fuck up the show. None of us.
And
pay
let's like
for
all try to win
yeah.
$25,000.
Yeah. And like none of us will just play even grounds. And
Yeah.
but they all choose to buy pranks.
Yeah. The other Alton Brown one that was really good was
Iron Chef.
No, Chopped.
Oh,
No,
Chopped.
Yeah, it
No.
was that. Not Chopped.
That's not him. Yeah,
That's
right.
that's one of the dudes from the original Queer Eye.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
He
That's
got
the one with
chopped.
the. That's the one with the baskets, right?
Yes, yeah.
That one was fun too.
Yeah.
They're all easy watching, great
Yeah.
late night before bed television shows because
100%.
they make you happy. You're like food,
Which
right?
is hilarious because like all I eat in a day is like a smoothie with some like protein powder and then
Yeah.
like
I feel
some
ya.
chopped up cucumbers. And I'm watching this
know,
like
same.
I'm like, oh, why can't you cook your seared scallops properly?
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, I just like eat salad out of a bag
Yeah,
instead
yeah,
of
yeah.
using a bowl. Like it's just yeah.
You know, taco salad in a bag. Mine is green goddess in a bag.
Yeah, exactly. It's 100%. I just like put the dressing right in and shake it up.
They always cook the same meals in Kitchen Nightmares,
In Hell's
in
Kitchen.
Hell's
Well, because
Kitchen.
they have the same. It's like the same menu in Hell's
Yeah,
Kitchen, right?
But that one meal, it's I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a meat and it's stuffed with or it's not stuffed. Sorry, it has
oh,
an
the
outer,
beef Wellington.
Beef Wellington. That's it. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever had a beef Wellington in my life. But every
That's
time I watch it,
Gordon
I want
Ramsay's
It.
signature dish.
I
Yeah.
really want to
Yeah.
try one now.
It's the best. It's buttery pastry
Yeah.
over like medium rare roast.
Well, Gordon expects the best, and
Yes.
he yells at people when he fucks it up or they fuck it up. So I'm like, I have a really
You
idea.
have
I have an idea
You have
of
a
what
big
it is,
version.
and it seems like it's gonna be the
I
best
feel like
meal.
you should go home and try to make beef Wellington and see if
with chuck
it's
steak
got-
and Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, I'll go buy a piece of steak and sit on Wellington Street. And, call
Just
it-
sit there.
Yeah. Beef Wellington.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
All of it's there. Hey, like everything up to date is
Yeah,
for Hell's
yeah,
Kitchen.
unedited, angry.
That's
it's
the
great.
best part because they
No
cut a
beeps.
lot
Yeah.
of the swears out and then they beep very few of them just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
show you that that's what they're doing.
Also, there's a
But
lot
they're
of
like, fuck this, fuck that, you
Also-
fucking cunt. Like, it's just reckless.
I would be absolutely remiss if I did not mention the complete and utter insanity that is the intro song in every single season.
Wow, chicka, wow,
And it's like, but like
wow.
the
Really?
where
remember
it's
that.
like all of them are like miniaturized
Yeah.
and like in a pinball machine
I
or
don't
like
remember. Oh, right. I
the
do remember this.
season I'm watching right now, it's like Gulliver's Travels themed, and so like Gordon Ramsay's like tied down on the ground like Gulliver, and all like the Lilliputians running around him are like the chefs.
So weird.
Oh my god, it's so weird. It's like an acid trip every time.
And it has
It's
nothing to
great.
do with the theme of the show.
Nothing
right?
to do with the show whatsoever.
Let's put them in a pinball machine, but never answer the question why they're in a pinball machine
Yeah.
in the opening sequence.
And Gordon Ramsay's head is always like very large and in the middle of the whole
Well,
thing.
he's God.
Yeah, he's God, and like they're those little playthings.
Yeah.
Watching Ramsay's, go watch Ramsay's Adventures. I can't remember the actual name of the show,
I know
but
what
he
you're talking
goes,
about.
he'll go travel, he'll be out of his element, he'll have to cook a meal with a local chef from that area, and then go and experience how to like source all of the
Right.
ingredients. So like he'll go to Ireland and have to learn how to make a haggis, right?
Yep.
And
That's Scottish.
That's
Just-
Scotland.
What,
Yeah.
so is,
Where do they have in
is a
Ireland?
Scotch egg
Potatoes?
Irish then?
I
Potatoes?
don't know.
Potatoes.
Sure,
Yeah,
potatoes,
they
yeah.
have to use
What
to
are
learn
making
how to make
potatoes?
a potato. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck,
I need you to make this potato into a battery so you can make the haggis.
And then a potato gun.
yeah.
like potato claw.
Weaponize this potato so you can rob a fucking grocery store.
Next thing you know, it's how it's made instead of
yeah.
Anyway,
MacGyver.
What
So,
are we watching?
Hell's
Anyways,
Kitchen.
yeah. How many what's out of what's?
It's
Potatoes.
7 fucking donkeys out of 10.
That's one of his favorite lines.
Yeah.
You're a fucking donkey.
Yeah, 7 fucking donkeys out of 10.
What was the other thing?
Oh, Miss Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
just finished Miss Marvel this week. And I
Da-na-na-na.
Love it.
I heard about that.
love it.
I watched it as well.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. I was really, really excited to see it. I'm sure as a great surprise to no one, I love female-centered and female-led action shows and movies.
What's her name? Kamala.
Kamala? Yeah, Kamala is the main
That's her.
character.
That's her character name, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Isma something. It starts
Yeah.
with an I think.
Okay.
But it was so good. I loved that it was teenagers. I love that the teenagers did teenager things.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't weirdly like sexualized. There weren't like weird like relationships or anything like that beyond the awkward like ones that teenagers have. I loved the relationship with her parents that was like, and her older brother that were kind of like, difficult to navigate. And I loved all the superhero stuff. The effects were so fun. I loved that it was like djinn lore, so it was like kind of cool.
Like genies and,
Yes.
Middle Eastern lore and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, no, I got that from American Gods. That's where
Yeah.
I was
Right.
first
Yes.
exposed to the djinn, and then I.
I got in Supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah.
I drank whiskey.
I'm more of a vodka girl
Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
But I haven't. I watched 2 episodes, and I wanted to like it, but I also didn't know where to find my inner teenage girl, and that was what I was competing with. But then Mark said, "Get over your shit. Wait till episode 4. It gets super fucking good, and then it ends like on a bang." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'll come back to it. I really will."
I personally I liked the first 2, then kind of was like meh, and then last one I liked.
I agree. It slowed down. Like I felt like the middle maybe 3 episodes could have been like 1.
Yeah.
But also it was
I
kind
like
of
the character.
Yeah,
all
the character
acting,
development
the
was
character.
fun.
It's very like playing off of oh my god, what's the monsters versus Mitchells, like that
Monsters
thing where
versus the
is that
Mitchells?
what it's called? Yeah, where
Or-
it's like some of it, whatever that cartoon movie is, but basically like in Scott Pilgrim where they're like thinking of an idea. And they
That's what I
draw
thought.
it
Yeah.
out
The
and
VFX
yeah,
was
the
very
VFX.
Scott Pilgrim.
and like that, and even oh my god, losing my brain today. That new Pixar movie where she turns into a raccoon.
Oh, Turning Red.
Turning Red.
I love that
So a
movie.
lot of these, and Claudio Chan, like, okay, a lot of these film, or I find they're trying to like play to this, like, this is a fun, cool way of like showing, I don't know, teenage style. I don't know,
growth and development.
Yeah,
and, like
it's
the hard things about being a teenager.
Well, I think also like it shows kinetic energy in a show by doing this this type of style.
Yes.
So I think that thing is funny. So when they did it, I'm like, it actually works for the show. And they didn't overdo it, I would say too. But yeah, I think all the casting's really good. The characters are good. The parent relationship, everything you're saying is right. I just wasn't like super into like the full story, but at the end I really liked it. Like I liked her. She's really well casted.
So likable
Like,
and
so
such a good actor.
Yeah,
Like
so just adorable.
yeah, cute.
Yeah, just like,
And like and sincere.
yeah.
And I really felt like I really believed that she was like awkward and confused.
She's wearing
and,
Converse all the time.
yeah, and
I
like
love
just
it, yeah.
just trying her best.
Yeah.
Like I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it across the board. I was excited to watch it every Wednesday. The only thing that made me less excited was because I was also watching Kenobi on Wednesdays. But
yeah.
but then after Kenobi ended, it was great. So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I agree with that, with Mark's assessment that like just get over yourself and watch it because you're not a teenage girl, whatever.
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
know, and
it ties in.
I'm neurodivergent. I need to be
else.
taken away fast. And if I'm not in common with the character, then I have a tendency to look at my phone and then be like, well, I'm not even into this,
But,
and then
okay, at the very least, watch the last episode.
okay.
I would say just to
well,
tie
maybe
you
like
in.
maybe like the last 2.
Last 2, maybe. I'd say the
Okay,
last
so
one, but-
spoiler alerts for everybody else because I've read about it. I know the story.
Oh, okay.
I haven't watched it, and there are drastic differences between the two. So the mutation comment
Yes.
in the last episode.
Yep.
How faint is it in the background?
It's in there. No,
It's
you
he
can-
Yeah,
says
it's obvious.
He says like it's her nerdy best friend, right? The guy who like helps to figure out all her stuff for her, Bruno.
Is that white kid in like the first or 2
Yeah,
episodes?
yeah,
Okay,
Bruno.
all right, yeah.
Who Kamran calls Brian the whole time, which was really I thought that was
yeah,
funny
that's
too.
funny
He's like,
too.
I genuinely thought your name was Brian.
Yeah.
He says I
looked at your DNA
Yeah, I looked at
again.
your I looked at your DNA, like it's different than that of your parents. It's like there's like basically you've got some mutation in your DNA.
So the
And-
word mutation is used.
Yeah, he
Yes.
says mutation in your DNA, and she goes like, that's just like one more thing that I can't think about.
I
kind
can't,
of.
I can't deal with this right now.
Yeah, and then they just kind of like go off to do kid stuff.
But they do play the theme. They go.
Yep.
They play that too, like they did in Doctor Strange.
Yes, yeah.
It's
okay.
cool. So that was cool.
So-
And then, do we
Yep.
tell like
The
the
other big
very
spoiler?
the other big
Yeah,
spoiler?
yeah,
Might
yeah.
as well.
Like right at the very end, where Kamala's room is all covered in like Captain Marvel stuff because she's obsessed with Captain Marvel, right? So at the very
I do know
end,
this too, but go on.
after like it's the end credit scene, Carol Danvers like appears in Kamala's room and like she's just like looking around, like all the posters of her stuff on the wall. She's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tying into Miss Marvel in the end.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the
Yeah.
Marvels,
Captain Marvel.
the
Cap-
Marvels is coming.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Miss
The
Marvel,
Marvels.
Captain Marvel, and then there's a third one.
The third one who's in WandaVision. That should
Oh
be the
yeah,
other
like
Marvel.
the girl with the stars.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck, what the hell's her name?
Oh, not
Okay.
Wanda. No, that's not WandaVision.
d-
That's
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
No,
yeah.
no, not her.
Oh, not her.
No, it's WandaVision.
Oh, the captain.
the daughter.
The daughter of the
Brie Larson's best friend.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's who's gonna be.
Right.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. In Doctor Strange, it was her mom.
I used to get points out for that. Jimmy's not here. I'd get a point for that.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it. And I would watch it with the kids. Like I think I'll rewatch it again with my
Nice.
kids.
Yeah.
So it's
Well, and the leading character's female. It's a superhero.
Yeah.
We don't get a lot of that.
Yep.
That's good for little girls. Like, there's a lot of good things in that. I was listening to Fat Man Beyond, and what was really cool was there was a guy on it, and he was Middle Eastern descent, and there's a thing in the background he noticed that was something that he grew up in his home with. Like, his parents had this. It was like a calendar or something that was like unique to her Pakistani is what she is.
Yeah,
Pakistani.
yeah.
Okay, so
Pakistani,
it was a Pakistani relic of some sort, and he was like, "That's the first time I've ever seen something like that in a
Nice.
show." And I was like, "That means Disney's trying."
Yeah, it for sure, because as South Asian, I related to a lot of like,
Okay,
"Beta,
yeah.
beta, come over here, beta," like certain things like that, and then like also like it made me think of Bend It Like Beckham, the family dynamic in that movie.
Okay,
That because that's a movie I watch and I go, that's very similar to how I grew up.
I just
And
watched because of Keira Knightley.
also Keira Knightley. But like I love like that's like one of the few like sports movie I love. Anyways,
Well, because it's anti to what her parents want her to do.
it's also
right?
like just like
and
yeah,
you fall in love with that because you switched
Exactly.
law to film.
exactly. I was supposed to be a soccer player.
Because I was supposed to be Keira Knightley.
Also, what's his face from the Tudors is in it. Like the guy.
Oh,
He's in August
yeah,
Rush.
yeah.
He's an actor.
3-name guy.
yeah.
Three name guy.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Rhys
Rhys
Myers.
Myers. Jonathan Rhys Myers.
That's
Holy
it.
Yeah.
shit! I pulled that one out.
Took 3 of us to get 3 names.
Woo!
Okay, so how many? We'll do it like a YouTube channel because I know she has one. Would you subscribe or not subscribe?
Oh, I would subscribe.
5-star review.
Yeah. You know what? I would maybe a 4-star review. I would keep coming back, and I'm excited to see what Kamala does next in the Marvel
Yeah.
universe.
Or in general as an actress. Or
Yeah.
that
Yes,
actress, yeah.
yes. But I'm specifically excited for this character. She's
Yeah.
cute and relatable for me because I was a teenage girl at one point, and I like it.
Ian, what'd you watch?
I watched so many things. No, actually, I've been lacking on the watching, but I did watch Lightyear.
Oh, okay,
like last
okay.
Oh my
week.
God, so woke. Ew.
I know.
Gay babies. Ah.
Really? Is that? I mean, I know China didn't want it, but I thought it was just because of a kiss. Is it that bad?
I don't even I don't even remember the kiss even like in there. That's
Well,
the
they took
funny
it out.
thing. Did they take it
They
out? I
took
thought
it
they
out.
left it in. Oh, okay.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Regardless, I
Took it out. They left it in. They took it out. Who knows anymore?
I enjoyed it more than I thought. Like it was one of those things. Like like the movie ended. I was like, I kind of liked it. Like it was just like it's kind of like The Incredibles, where it's like. Where it's like it feels more adult, because
Yeah.
like the storyline, I'm like, if a kid to watch this, there's time travel involved. There's a lot of like parallel universe type situations. I'm like, this is kind of over
big,
the head
big
for
story
some- Yeah,
here.
it is a big story. There's certain things I'm going, I don't know. If
Well,
I'll
you know,
get
it takes
this.
a lot of work to get away from an entire series of movies.
Yeah, I
To
know.
then restart a character that you robbed the voice from, and now
But I'm okay with all that. Like
I know,
again,
I
yeah.
know. Does it relate to Does it explain anything?
There's little snippets, like he'll say his taglines throughout that you hear
To
from Toy-
infinity
Like,
and beyond.
But like not even to that degree. It's just like, but they explain it. Like I don't know if this is much of a spoiler. The very first thing in the beginning is a black caption that says, or sorry, a text that comes up that says, like, and this year, or Andy watched this movie as a kid, and this was his favorite movie. So essentially, this is the movie that Andy watched that made him want the toy
Right, because it's
so
like
this is the movie in the universe of
of Toy Story.
Of
that
Toy Story.
Andy watched that made, or whatever.
it's
the
like
world
the
watched,
the
everyone-
origin story of the action figure of Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I really liked it. It's again, it has like a little bit of interstellar elements, I'd say, to it. Weirdly enough, like when you do watch, you'll understand what I mean. I legitimately laughed like a few times, like throughout it. Like I was like, ha, good joke, bad joke. It's Pixar. Pixar has good
Yeah.
humor. They know how to like funnel it out and make it more adult. This one, it feels more adult, kind of like Incredibles. I'm also like one of the few people that went to see it. It did not do well, or is not doing well at the box office. I think it's out of theaters already, so I'm sure it's gonna be on Disney Plus in like a few weeks.
It's funny how a little bit of drama and politics around a film just can knock it. Because like
I
that.
don't think there was much buzz behind this. No
Ha.
pun intended. Fuck, I'm good.
Oh,
What's
that's
up, Mark?
great.
That was a pure accident. But as I said it, I was
What's
like,
up, Marty McFries?
as I said it, I started sweating.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a good pun.
Yeah.
Makes you a little uncomfortable.
I
I
peed a
stepped
little.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how many Infinity and Beyonds, or how many Infinities are in this film? It sounds like a lot.
A lot of infinities. I would give it like 3.5 infinities out of 5.
Okay,
Cool.
out of 10.
How does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that yeah,
Out of 5.
out of 5. Okay,
Oh, should I do 10?
yeah, do 10.
7 out of 10.
Okay, yeah, I did the math.
Okay.
3.5, 3.5.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
7.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I know.
I wonder what that would be.
We do 100 if you want.
333.33 repeating.
70% or
70 out of 100.
Leroy Jenkins.
Otherwise, I've been catching up on Westworld season 4.
Talk to me, Goose. I want it to.
It's all right.
It's back to basics.
I think Westworld does a really good setup, and then they crash and burn near the end, or it gets very.
They don't land
convoluted.
well.
They don't land well each season, and I also, because it's such a complicated show, I forget what the fuck happened the last few seasons, and I go.
What do you need to know, man? I can tell you.
I think I
don't
only
really-
watched
it's
the first two. Once
the
they're,
second's
like,
not very good.
Once they're out into the real world, when does that happen?
Second,
Then I only watched the first one, which I loved.
yeah.
But
Oh,
then
sorry.
Second and third.
Second and third. Yeah.
There's First
season's incredible.
Yeah.
First season in the park.
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
are they there?
Yeah.
We find out that
Right.
A lot of Easter eggs
Tons.
sprinkled and little.
What's the season where you learn about like Man in the Black Hat? Is that in the first one?
That's one.
Like where he comes from? Okay, I've only
two,
seen.
two is Japanese world, Japan world,
Okay, I've only seen.
also
Samurai-
World,
Samurai
World War II world,
World War
also
II,
Raj World,
Raj world, yeah,
and
or Mumbai world.
Yeah, Mumbai world. There's 8 parks in total over the course of 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they just keep introducing you to a park. And now they're just like, this park's here. Like, they don't even explain why it's there. You just know that in this world, they have built multiple parks for multiple personalities. But the arc is first season, they get you to the park and they want you to have fun. And
Yeah.
the robots break. And then they kill everybody.
Or there's at least conspiracy for the robots to try to become
sentient.
Mhm.
That's the main
Jinx.
purpose.
Yeah.
Season 2, we find out why we want sentience. We want fidelity. So that
That's a good interpretation of season 2. Yes.
when you die, they want to upload your consciousness
Right.
into your new version and see if they can continue on.
Right,
with
because
it.
that's what
forever.
that was the whole thing about, like why they wanted all the data from the park.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And then
Third
season
season
3, go ahead.
is
You're
no,
doing
well,
well.
you
no,
go.
you go ahead.
Okay.
You're doing really well.
Season 3 is now we have the data. What do we do with the data? What's the point of all this data? Control society. So they build a supercomputer.
Right.
And they funnel the data from the park
Fuck.
into the computer.
You're doing this so well. I'm like, right.
And
This
then
is-
that computer tells you who's an outlier in society that needs to be reformed and who falls in line, so that then you can create a perfect utopia. And
Okay.
then in season
I'm in.
4, they've gone black. It's 8 years later,
right.
and now they're doing the worst thing. They're replacing people of power with their robotic selves. Because at one point, Dolores made copies of herself in season 3, and one of those copies resorted back to her Wyatt character from season 1 that killed everybody, and is now in Charlotte Hale. What's her face? Valkyrie.
Valkyrie. Tessa
Valkyrie-
Thompson.
Tessa Thompson has gone rogue, and she's got the Man in Black. He's plugged into a supercomputer, and now there's a
I forgot.
host Man in Black running around
This makes-
controlling it all.
This makes more sense to like the Tessa Thompson character because I forgot a lot of this. Really well done. I actually needed that because I'm like I'm enjoying it, but I don't remember what the fuck is going on. But I'm enjoying it because Westworld is just a really beautiful show. It's a very I think it's really good sci-fi elements. Like I watch it for style a lot because I'm
Yeah,
like
it's very well done.
it's really well done. But it's one of those shows you have to pay attention. You
Active
can't-
watcher.
You can't. Yes, you cannot have background noise, which we'll come to later. But yeah. So, anyways, I'm catching up on that, and I think the only. Oh, I want to touch on 2 more things.
Sure.
I haven't started it yet because I'm saving it for when I have some downtime because I know I'm gonna binge hard. And also I've rewatched it too many times. But it was just re-released back on Prime because it hasn't been out in forever.
What is?
The OC. All 4 seasons, baby. Let's go.
California.
Chris McCaw.
Yeah, it's so
Here
good.
we come. Whoa.
It's so good. Like I know.
Can we make a watch party and we'll just all sit in the
Sure.
couches
The
and watch it
OC
together?
is so good.
I know.
It's the Seth Cohen hour.
I've rewatched it so many times. I don't need to rewatch it again, but I will. But season 1, I know so well. Like,
Fucking Marissa.
I can tell you every episode name.
The first
like for the
season
one.
of OC, I'm gonna go ahead and say is like one of the best seasons of TV
television.
ever.
Yeah, agreed.
Peter Gallagher was everybody's dad
Yeah,
for
like,
like
exactly.
Oh my god.
Oliver is one of the evilest.
Oh.
How angry you get.
Oliver's
with
the
Oliver.
original what's his face from Game of Thrones? Ramsey.
Ramsey.
Yeah.
They-
Remember when he tries to kiss Marissa on New Year's, and then
Yes.
Ryan comes up, and it's like no one knows what it's like when you. It's so good.
They used so many big songs
Good
and
Yes.
so
songs,
many
yeah.
moments.
Music
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that is
yeah.
so
Killers,
much fun.
Modest Mouse, all these like great
Yeah.
bands. Like,
Oh,
What was
God.
that? Such Great Heights was redone with like a robotic voice for it, I think.
oh
Or
yeah,
who-
it's
What was her name?
I don't remember. I know.
I
what
have
you're
the
saying,
I have the fucking track. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, I own the OC mixes still. It's funny.
Absolutely.
I don't like. I think I never owned it. I just always like had it on my computer. Like, anyway, so I'm so happy it's on Prime. It's funny. I did like as soon as it came out. I think I woke up. I turned on Prime and I saw it there, and I like Insta storied it. And my fucking Insta story, like 80 people commented, be like, oh my god, like so many people commented on the story, like, I'm so excited, I can't believe this, because those that are like 10 years younger had siblings that watched it,
Right.
and then there's us.
I
and
was
then like I
the
don't know.
absolute perfect age for that show when it came out.
Yes,
like,
I
I was
was
bonering. I was making out. I was like,
I
there
was-
was all those
yeah.
things,
I
right?
was grade 12 in high school when
Yeah.
season 1
I
was
was,
out.
I think, a little bit younger, but not much.
How old are you again, Ian?
35.
You're 35.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
I was out because I'm 40.
Yeah.
But I was still bonering and like experiencing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Yeah, I was like grade 11.
Okay.
I think.
So you guys were better suited for it.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was,
Probably.
I was perfect.
Yeah.
Like I was
High
in
school
my
times.
parents' basement, like thinking I was a badass,
Yeah.
like just like Ryan.
I know
you
my
were
friend and I have
square
been
in the demographic.
My friend and I
yeah.
have been texting each other about like we're like is Amy the perfect girl or Anna? Sorry,
Anna.
Is Anna the perfect
is Anna
girl?
the perfect girl? We're like, is she like? I love her so much.
I
Her
love.
pixie cut.
I always loved Summer. Like
That's right. The short hair, the little Tinkerbell.
there was like the one line with Summer where she's like talking about traveling, and she's like, "You haven't seen Hostel till you try to put me up in one."
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
like one
So
of,
good line.
One of my favorite lines of television.
Or when they go to
Wasn't
when
that
they're-
Mick G that did that show?
he produced it. It's a different guy named I can't remember his name, but Mick G was one of the producers on
Okay,
it that
yeah.
got it off the ground for sure.
Okay.
After Charlie's Angels blew up, like blew up in a positive way.
Yeah.
yeah.
What was that other episode? Oh no, the episode where they go to like Tijuana
Oh,
and they talk
right.
about and Summer's dissing Death Cab, and I love Death Cab. Like I was Seth.
That's
Cohen.
the drug
She
overdose.
ODs,
The
yeah.
OD
Yeah, the OD,
episode.
yeah.
She sees Luke with Holly, and don't get me started.
Ugh.
Holly.
I'm
Anyways,
so glad you mentioned that. 'cause
I know so much. I know too much. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyways, so I watched that. But the final thing, which I don't know if you're going to touch on, Michael, but Thor.
I'll touch on Thor. If you
Okay,
wanna.
so I'll leave
haven't
it. I'll
seen
leave
it
it
yet.
there.
You know what? You haven't seen it
I
yet?
haven't seen
Okay,
it
so
yet.
then me and you will do a no spoiler review
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Like, how are you okay if we talk about?
Oh
it?
yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I'm really excited to
Yeah.
see it.
am
Okay, so yeah. I did a couple things. I did a local thing this week.
Okay.
Crystal Snow came on the show this week. She came
Oh, yeah,
back.
Crystal. Yeah,
Yeah, I bugged her. I was like, let's do something without Ian and Alan.
Nice.
No, her film that she did 5 years ago, A Desperate Road.
Oh, they changed the name.
They
I think
changed the name.
It was just called Intersection.
Yeah, well, they changed
Ooh,
the
okay.
name, and you'll know. Well, they changed the name because she told me
Yeah.
that they lost the sound while they were recording, so they had to ADR everything, and ADR also stands for A Desperate Road. So the whole movie is done in
very
ADR
funny.
with a little meta of a title. Anyways, it's about a husband and wife. They get in a car accident, and the wife comes back from the dead the next morning in the bed, and you do not know why.
Mhm.
And it's a
Beetlejuice.
darling 120 minute. Yeah, no, it's 100. Yeah, it's an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's quick, it's fun. Cameron Patterson shot it.
Yep.
Our friend been on the show a couple times. Crystal's been on the show a couple times. It's a really good thriller. It's on Tubi.
Nice.
Was it on Tubi?
It's on
Check it out.
Tubi.
I'll watch Tubi.
Yeah, it was
I
supposed
didn't
to be
know
on
it was
Prime,
Tubi.
but it's on Tubi now. So
good.
and I did it because I wanted to talk to her about it because she was posting it online, and I'm like, yes, come back, let's talk about
There's
this.
a lot
but-
of local stuff on Tubi lately.
Well, and it also reminded me that, like, yeah, Thor's muscles and, his pixelated ass are great, but, support your local stuff, too, at the same time, right? Like, we all get duped into, like, sitting next to a filmmaker, we all get duped into the big tent pole, but, like, nah, don't shake your fucking hands.
Wait,
You
what?
make
You're
art.
a filmmaker? No, I'm just kidding.
But, like, you do forget that there's way more of the other stuff
Yeah.
to fill in between those, like, 6-month lulls where you're waiting for your next big hit. So,
It's called YouTube.
yeah, there's
TikTok
TikTok.
but,
at Real Debaters.
Lyle Morris
Pod.
is in it too, local Winnipeg
Yes,
actor,
yes,
I
that's
think.
right, yep. I do know him as well.
and-
Actually, I know everyone on that.
Yeah, I'm not
I
surprised.
know a lot of I know a lot about that production, but yeah.
But no, we had a good talk about that. I loved it. I really thought that I knew what the fuck was going on. It bleeds in and out of, is he dead? Are they dead? The parents are now involved. Are the parents dead? Is anybody actually alive? Like, you ask all these questions, and you think you know, and you're like, all right, it's a red doorknob. We got some Sixth Sense shit going on. And then I went, what the fuck?
Right.
And stood up out of my chair and was like, okay, well done.
Yep.
You got me.
Well, I'll check that out.
So, and it's free too, guys. You have no fucking reason not to, listeners. So listen to us. Anyways,
I like paying for my content. I'm kidding.
You elitist. So Desperate Road. And then, I went and saw Thor last Monday after I got back from Folk Fest by myself. It was fantastic. I felt professional.
Yep.
I was like, I'm actually writing notes right now.
Everyone, I'm here for my job.
Yeah.
This is not for fun.
Excuse me, everyone. I need you all to know.
This is for my
Shut the
podcast.
fuck up.
Please get out of my way.
Yeah. Make
I'm
this
a
like a home
professional
event,
here.
please. Okay.
Sorry,
Do you have a podcast?
I reserved this seat for me.
Could you please crunch your popcorn a little more quietly?
Yeah.
This is important.
You're interrupting my focus.
Excuse me. What are all these people doing here?
Okay, so what we'll say about Thor? We'll do this and this, and then we can.
It's
call
okay. Go
because-
for it.
But,
It's my own fault for not having seen it yet.
Did you love Ragnarok?
Yes.
Okay, then you will love this
Excellent.
because it doesn't stray too far from the first act, second act, third act profile that Ragnarok was. But I would say, out of what was a buddy comedy in Ragnarok, more or less,
Yep.
is now a romantic comedy a little bit more.
That sounds great. I love
Interesting.
rom-coms, and everyone who doesn't agree with me can suck it.
It's not a heavy romantic comedy. It's just that's where the comedy is in the romance between the two. You're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so over people being like, rom-coms are stupid. It's like, you're stupid. Like, rom-coms are fun.
They get trashed the most.
I know they do.
Because they trope the most, I think. But in this one, the awkwardness between Jane and Thor is really endearing. Love it. Because you will, like how I feel when you run into an ex after so many years, it's all over the place. Korg is.
I'm dealing with that right now.
Yeah, there's. Want to talk about it?
Kind of.
Want to talk about it on the show?
She wants to come on the podcast.
Oh,
one of my
boy.
exes.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
not even joking. Anyways.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it later.
Korg and it's a buddy comedy again, but Korg is way more prevalent in the film this time around. My only issue with it is I can see where it's identical to Ragnarok. Like,
Okay.
you know, the arena scene
Yep.
in Ragnarok. Hey, we're friends from work. That is the God Palace scene in the film, like when you meet Zeus. So
Interesting.
those things I didn't
Yeah,
feel.
nice correlations. I didn't think of it that way, but
Tika wrote a different story, but he didn't stray from what we loved about the comedic profile of the first one.
I think that works for me. You know what? Like, my anxiety brain doesn't like new things anyway. So if it's a little bit of a rinse and repeat of something I already like and I'm
Yeah.
familiar with, aces.
I personally I laughed a lot. Don't get me wrong. I didn't love it. Like Ragnarok.
I didn't love it either. I loved Ragnarok
Yeah,
more.
it has issues. I don't think Natalie Portman's great in it. She's not a comedian. Like she's not a comedy actor. Sorry, is the
Right.
best way.
That's
but like
that's the thing.
yeah, like
I'll
but
agree
there's
with you on that.
there's things in it. I know it's getting beat up a little bit on reviews for being too comedic. I rewatched Doctor Strange recently, and I remember coming out of that one the first time I watched it, being like, I don't know if I like the Ramsey of it or
Whimsy?
Sam Raimi, sorry, Sam Raimi of it.
like the jarring camera angles.
Yeah, like certain his
Yeah.
ass. Like the
and-
third act's very good.
and the whip pans and
Yes.
stuff like that.
But I was like, I don't know if I like that movie. And I rewatched it. I was like, I don't like Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
I don't like what they do in it. Anyways, but then I'm like, you know what? I do like this because I walked out of this one being like, I enjoyed myself there. This was good popcorn.
Can I
but
say
Thor
something
Ragnarok's very good.
to why I think we're feeling this way?
Yep.
We have no one guiding us. We knew phase 1 through 3.
I agree. The phase 4 is a mess.
And the more that they tack onto phase 4
yes,
as their own standalones, they're okay.
Yep.
But they're not the collective vibe that
And-
1 through 3 is.
and Marvel, yeah, they're giving us a lot right now. I'm a little Marvel burnt. Like I'm hoping I won't get to the point where I am with Star Wars, where I'm like, I'm giving up. But like Marvel, I'm getting a little tired. Like it's hard, you know. Like I think that's my thing.
Without
with
a
Marvel.
direction, it's
I
just
don't
Marvel
understand
after.
these words.
I know.
Like, people run out of Star Wars watching
I did watch
this?
Kenobi. I did watch Kenobi.
Fuck yeah, obviously.
I know I had to. You had to.
It's just like I was expecting some sort of answer in Thor
Yeah.
in the mid and end credit, and there is nothing that goes forward. And what does go forward is a new introduction to a character that you're like, okay, we know We know that the problem is Fantastic Four and X-Men. We know that's what you're trying to
Yeah,
find
that's
a
where we're
point
trying to find. Yeah, get in.
I'll
So
be
you-
honest, I can't even remember what the end credits were, but obviously
Yeah,
don't say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But I'm like, what the fuck happened?
They're not like screaming in the theater, clapping, "Oh my god!"
Yeah.
moments like they used to
Yeah,
be.
you're right. You're right. Actually, that's something I forget now. Like where Iron Man and like sitting through the ending, be like, "Holy shit, what?" You know, like
Yeah.
I don't have those
Nick
Did I
moments.
just
Fury?
say that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
More Nick Fury.
yeah.
Nick
like,
Fury assembling a team like that was those little like those 30-second moments had a lot of responsibility.
They almost need a new way of giving those as opposed to us waiting till the end. Like they, like I don't know, somehow release it differently. Like I don't know, to give us those moments. Like what's a better way?
Like
of
they
doing
did those little shorts that they released as promos.
That was good
in,
with
in between,
Thor.
like for and in between like Iron
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
3,
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
and those were fun.
Those were fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like
those are all on Disney now too. I think.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
and
watch them in
if
shorts.
and for those of you who have watched the supercut that we shared, that they're all cut into those as well.
I know
really?
everything is cut into those supercuts, Ian.
Interesting. Oh,
His-
you're a super guy? Wait,
No,
wait, super
so
guys.
Dan, her husband,
Yeah, yeah.
Dan's he's got a Plex account and he's got the supercuts of the entire Marvel series.
What?
The entire
Really?
Marvel universe, yeah, it's really fun.
Interesting.
It's everything that's ever been made cut into the.
Chronologically,
That's so
story.
funny.
yeah,
So the first scene
Yeah.
is like the stones, and then
it's all the flashback scenes like right at the
That's-
beginning.
So how long is this?
It's like 3
4.5
days or
days.
something, 4.5 days, yeah.
Yeah.
and he updates them every time something comes out.
Specifically, not Dan. Just to be clear.
Yeah, no, not Dan.
Dan has
Dan
access.
watches them
Dan,
when they
Dan
come out.
watches it.
Yeah.
Someone else does the update.
Okay. Sorry, that's I was like, Jesus, that's commitment.
No.
Yeah, no. Dan's an awesome electrician, by
Yes.
the way. Comes over when you need him very
Right.
fast.
That's good to know. Actually, I need that.
Tells you what the problem is when he doesn't even see the
I
thing.
need that over new Marvel content. Let me tell you, I need a good electrician.
Well, you can have an electrician who will talk to you very knowledgeably about Marvel.
Great.
content.
I need that.
That's
too.
what we did. We
Yeah.
talked
In a
about
nice British accent.
Really? He's
Yes.
British?
Yes.
Hey, that's hot.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
That's why I married him.
I know. I
I-
get it.
I read a thing too that it was like I think it was New Rockstars said that there's like a ton of character reveals, and I'm like,
What?
I don't know.
Whatever.
I will say that Christian Bale, and he said it since the reviews have been coming out, he was like, there was no point in trying to keep up with Hemsworth's routine and trying to be as big, right?
Yeah.
Because he's Christian Bale, right? He's just with a bald cap, and his CGI work looks awesome, and the fact that he brings them to literally a world where there is no color, there's a black and white sequence that's really fun,
Neat.
but it's connected to the story. So like you literally just see a wipe and then black and white occurs. Those things are fun, but it's nothing. I felt the hype. It was supposed to do more,
Yeah.
and it really didn't.
I agree.
But you'll
I-
like it. Like you'll enjoy it.
This
There's
actually
nothing-
works
yeah.
for me. Sometimes I go into movies overhyped
Yeah.
and it's depressing. So this is like I'm being brought down a peg. So I'm excited.
Yeah. I agree everything you're kind of saying. I'm like, yeah, I was like kind of I went into it excited, but I kind of knew what I was getting at the same time. and
Yeah.
I was also extremely tired that day, but
So
I
was
remember
I.
laughing so much. I was like, I think that's why I'm having trouble. I'm like, what was the end credits? But I remember the one now. I don't remember what the other one was, but anyways.
I'm excited. I'm still excited.
Zeus is. If you've ever wondered what Russell Crowe sounds like as an Italian,
Yeah.
you will learn.
I mean, I haven't, but now I am.
He comes, he's like, hey, and it's like, but it makes sense because Roman god, right?
Yeah,
Italy.
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
But you just kind of wonder, like,
have to
could he
think
have
about it.
not just been European because
Yeah.
Rome's in Europe,
Yeah.
right?
He had
But
to go bigger than whatever he did in Gladiator. Or like, you know, he had to like kind of.
what's
like,
my action? Be bigger than Gladiator.
Like kind of. Otherwise, people are gonna like because like that
It's the
relates in a
yeah.
sense. You know.
That's Maximus Aurelius. That's not Zeus.
No, but you know, like same world in a sense.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. So I would give
How many hammers?
How many hammers?
How many axe?
How many? You know what? For her comedic absence, not failure, just absence. She's not a. She played fucking Jackie Onassis. You can't
Yeah,
ask the
I-
woman who,
She has an Oscar.
right? But at the same time, she, Natalie fucking Portman on SNL. Like you kind of,
Yeah.
like she nailed that sketch, but at the same time, she doesn't have the timing in a film. But I will give it 7 out of 10 Natalie Portman biceps because
would-
she got fucking
Yeah,
So
jacked.
ripped.
Jacked in it.
I'm
She looks
prepared.
good.
That's gonna be my new goal.
She committed
looks
to the
so-
character,
Yeah.
and she's a Thor. Just so
Yeah.
you know, she's not Jane. She's
yeah,
a
she's-
Thor.
Yeah.
Because when you can carry the hammer, you're a
You're
Thor,
a Thor. Right.
and you get Thor after you. And also the butt shot's pretty good too.
I'm in. I'm
Really?
gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna download the app that will make me look like Natalie Portman, or also maybe Chris
Oh yeah,
Hemsworth.
the Chris Hemsworth app. I should
Yeah.
download
I
that.
can't decide who I want to look like, but it's definitely one of them.
I'm gonna use the washroom.
Sure. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get ready for the next segment. So listen to this soundbite, and we'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the second half of the show. To anybody out there who's like, hey, I'd love to sponsor a podcast, this is where your ad would go right now. This is where we would talk about all of the cool things that we like. And there's a ton of cool things in this room. Like, I could talk about my Parrot Bebop drone. I could talk about my Oculus 3. So if the people at DJI or Facebook are listening, I have your products. We'd love to be sponsored by you.
Kitty litter, Tushy, Casper.
I actually have 2 tushies in my house. One in my downstairs bathroom, one in my upstairs bathroom, and they are 2 different kinds. One's the fancy spa one, and one's the normal one. So I'm ready to be sponsored by Tushy.
Hello Fresh.
Oh, I have a portable Tushy too that I take with me in my purse.
The fuck?
I know.
Explain.
It's like
I don't know what it is.
It's like a squishy water bottle with like a nozzle, so you can bidet on the go.
So you
honestly.
put it. So you hook it onto the toilet.
No,
and then
you
sit?
fill it up from the tap before you go into the bathroom.
And
And
it's
then
just an
you,
under
Yeah,
and
and you just
a-
like squeeze.
So why can't you just use that all the time?
You could, but it doesn't warm up the water for me. I don't know. There's no good reason.
Interesting.
You can
My-
fill it up with warm water.
Yeah,
and then
just
do
at
it, right?
home.
Yeah.
At home, I've got it right on my toilet. So
Right.
It's,
I can't how my my toilet's too close to my my tub. It's like there's not enough space to basically put a bidet, and it drives me insane. I want a bidet so badly because like
I know people like make fun of it, but honestly, once
No,
you have a
fuck that.
bidet, you can't
it
go
feels
back.
so good.
It's like I can't imagine not having one
Yeah.
now. I'm like, what did I used to just wipe? And like that makes no,
no, it
sense
becomes
at
a
all.
magic. Like, yeah, it never ends.
So
It
Tushy,
never goddamn ends.
this is what could be talked about for your ad.
yeah,
With a Tushy, you never have to wipe again.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, like you should probably, otherwise
no,
you
no,
have
no,
to drip
no.
dry.
Yeah,
Wipe a little bit.
you pat to dry.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how this show always gets into like,
Shitting?
how we take care of our bodies. Like
I
in
talked
some way.
about my pornography.
Yeah, no, I've talked about
The pornography you own or the pornography you're in?
Both.
Oh, good. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have a copy. Don't worry.
Excellent.
So, first topic up for grabs, ladies and gentlemen. Let's open the floor here. I thought, why not talk about one of the biggest inventions that comes with the history of cinema, which is the
Bidets.
invention. Bidets, yes, exactly. Being able to shit on set and clean your ass keeps you in character. No, correct me if I'm wrong, but before green screen technology, it was blue screen technology, right? Like it was a blue screen.
It's just possibly it's preference to it's like it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Some blue sometimes is better than the green.
What's the difference, if there is any? Because
It's
I
just
don't.
what you're like. It's one from what I understand. It's preference, but green is like the tone. Sometimes like you can pull it out easier.
Okay.
So green is usually used. You can use blue as well. I think it just depends on like coloring of characters and certain costumes and things like that. So it's just based on preference. Because obviously what you're pulling out is a color that doesn't exist anywhere else. So sometimes it's easier based on like if someone is wearing a lot of blue or something like that.
Okay, I didn't
You know?
know that it went that deep into the what you're trying to
Yeah,
superimpose.
like so it just might be easier for compositing later.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
post.
from what I understand as a guy who doesn't do a lot of like keying out. So yeah.
oh, and you know what? From editing video on the show,
Yep.
keyframes, key, and all
Yep.
that stuff, I've learned. I'm like, oh, that's what you do to mask. So, I guess first question first, like, Emily, where do you does it when you see a green screen versus a location, or when you see a location versus a green screen, do you step outside of your brain for a minute and be like, thank you for going to set, or oh my god, this is the worst fucking VFX I've ever seen? Like, does it bother you, or does it?
So it depends very much on the state of mind that I'm in when I'm watching the movie, and by
Touche.
that I mean,
Are you a critical bitch at the moment?
no, not even that. I mean more like, am I sober and like, am I when I'm a normal brain?
I have all my
right?
faculties.
Yeah, when I have all my faculties in my normal brain, it actually doesn't impact me quite as much. My brain is more able to suspend reality. I think it's more enjoyable and more reasonable, and that's the same thing with like bad acting, as well as green screens and stuff. It just it doesn't pull me out of the experience. if I am in a slightly altered state of mind, through whatever alterations I might be going through at the time, I find that my ability to suspend reality is significantly diminished. And so that can do one of two things. If it's a good movie with really great effects and really great acting, it becomes way more immersive because I'm just like way into it and it feels like reality and it's great. If it's a shitty movie with shitty acting and really bad, weird green screens, it's all I can see. It's like I'm watching a play with bad sets.
So it's like a domino effect for you,
Yeah.
right?
Do you have
One
an
goes.
example?
Well, okay, so I can get just out of my face messy on like absolutely anything I want and watch Lord of the Rings, right? I love it. It's filmed on location. It looks real. It feels real. I can like feel the New Zealand breeze blowing through my hair, even though I've never been to New Zealand. It's great. I was watching, this is a particularly bad example because it was a particularly bad movie, but I got really high and watched Moonfall.
I remember this conversation.
I watched Moonfall.
And while I certainly loved the experience, the whole time, like I may as well have been watching like a shitty high school play as far as I was concerned, like in terms of.
That's how bad the CGI is.
Well, probably not, no, but like
I
in
shouldn't
my
say CGI,
mind.
I should say VFX.
Yeah,
right?
but in my mind at the time, like as soon as it became obvious, which was like pretty much right away, it was all I could see. And so I guess to answer your question, when I don't enjoy it, it's really just my own damn fault. Because I smoked too much weed. But otherwise, yeah, it was. It doesn't really matter to me either way. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. But on site sort of shots to me are the ones that are timeless. I can watch them in any state of mind and enjoy it the whole time.
I think it really, what it is we all want to go into the pretend world of like, okay, we know that this is fake, but do the best job to mask that, right?
Ooh, there's the added fun and the added like benefit of being able to go to a physical place in the world and be like, this is where they filmed.
She read my list.
Oh,
Right.
Sorry. And be
That's
like,
okay, go
"Oh,
on."
This is where they filmed like that, right? So when I was in Havana, I was like, oh, this is where they filmed one of the Fast and the Furious movies, like the chase scenes at the beginning of Fast and the Furious. And like, that's really cool, right? Because you recognize the buildings, you recognize the space.
Well, it's fun to go and be like, what was here and what wasn't here, and deduce that, right? Like the people, like Shauna went to Turkey, and she went to where they shot New Hope.
Yeah.
And she found the
Nice.
caves that they all went into, right? Like, we've got a magnet on the fridge from it. And it's like,
oh my goodness, that's so cool.
like, I'm even getting fucking chicken skin just talking about it because she was literally standing where George Lucas was like, what the fuck? How do we make racer speed, right? Like, all of these questions were asked there, and all this lore took place there. And then she gets there, and it's this completely different thing, like how they manipulated it versus to how big it is and how deep you can go. Like, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi cave scenes I think was shot there.
That's so cool.
I'm not 100% certain, but like
I want to go there.
From her shots to what I saw, I'd have to Google it, but I know some of it took place in those caves, but you just can't fucking tell. So the journey to go into the world and see where the fake world was made.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun. There's tours that do that. Star Wars does that. Game of Thrones does that.
Well, even like when I went to Chicago, I remember the first time, and then like I think I did like a couple of tours because we were bored, but they were like, yeah, all of like Batman Begins, Dark Knight is shot here, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. And I'm looking around, like, right.
Yeah,
This looks like Gotham, like that Gotham, like Nolan's Gotham. And I'm like, right. And then they were pointing out buildings, being like, that's where Batman stood out there. I was like, oh, that is where Batman would stand. Like,
Yeah.
And you kind of see it a bit more. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This feels like I'm in Gotham all of a sudden. And so I had a new appreciation for Chicago because of it. Because all of a sudden I saw it in a new light. And I was like, oh, interesting. But, couldn't get that if it was built in CGI.
Well, and location too has all the romance of all the problems, right? Like you don't really have the drama of, the cold weather or the sun not being at the right angle until magic hour. Like all of those things kind of add to it was a perfect moment to get. Where in a green screen, you're just like, all right, back to ones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What about you, Ian?
It depends on the film. It depends on like what world building you need to do to make it. In that sense,
I love that world building is like a fucking buzzword. I love that word, right?
but like I know on the new Thor there was some complaints about it being like so green screen, or some people said it like composites wasn't good. I heard on like a different podcast.
They
and I was
should
like,
have filmed it in real outer space.
yeah, right. Like I don't know. It was just like one of those like maybe they wanted actual sets built and stuff, and there's times where it makes sense, and there's times it doesn't. And you watch like the behind the scenes of Avenger Endgame, you see all the cast on like the entire fucking Marvel
that big
cast,
wide
the
shot.
Big wide
yeah,
shot,
I know the
all
one
of
you're
them
talking
running
about.
in,
Yeah.
and they're all there. It's just like all fucking like green screen that
Yeah.
entire scene. But I'm like, when you watch the film, it's fine. You don't
Yes.
have to. You don't need that. You have everything else. That now, for instance, we were talking about Doctor Strange earlier. That they composited like the scene with the Illuminati. That was all like composited. Like all those actors were in separate rooms when they shot most of that.
So that's what you mean by composite
Oh.
is you're
Yes.
taking
You're
5
putting-
different shots and
you're
putting
pausing, and so they
that's
were-
ugly.
And so, that one you can kind of feel it because none of them are in the same room, and so the green screen's not helping the case at the same time because the acting. It's kind of what you were saying earlier about how like acting and everything. It's like a combination. It's the perfect storm. But if one fails, everything else fails.
Yeah, it all kind of falls down, and
Yeah.
then you see it as soon as you get pulled out.
Yep.
Out is all you can see,
Right.
and so
you can't get back in.
No,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
So if it drives the story and helps it and it makes sense to do it, do it. But like practicals always seems to be the best. It's just like sometimes it's impossible or hard to do, or budget
Or
restraints,
costs
or
more-
cost.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So many things. But I never thought of it. What you were saying, where you're like, it's great as a fan to be able to go to places. I never thought of it that way.
That was her,
'cause
that
you're
wasn't
right.
me.
Oh, sorry. That was whoever.
That's okay. It's fine.
I gave you points about the other shit. I was like, no.
It also it changes the movie when you watch it back. Like it doesn't necessarily impact the movie the first time, but then you go and you see it, and then every time after that you watch the movie, then the impact is
Its
felt.
rewatchability is
It's,
ruined.
Right.
and no, it's not ruined. It's made better, I think, because if you've
Oh,
been
okay.
to the place where you've
Oh,
seen
yes,
the
okay.
location,
Right.
yeah,
First time I went to Vegas, CSI Vegas all of a sudden became way cooler.
right, exactly, because
Oh,
now
Ocean's 11 became cooler.
Right?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I stood where Danny and Rusty stood
Yeah.
in front of the Bellagio
Yep.
with the
Yeah.
fountains,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I found the little bridge that they walk over,
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, like this is what's so cool about shooting in Vegas.
And then you also realize how hard it must be to shoot in Vegas because it's so busy.
So
there.
busy.
there's like
Yeah.
20,000 people who all wanted the same experience
Yeah.
as me. Well, not 20, maybe 3, but like I was like, get the fuck out of my way! I
But
want
then-
to feel like Danny.
But then you go, oh man, no wonder they like shoot something in a green screen to avoid all
Yeah.
this bullshit.
Yeah,
you
they're
do
like
get it.
7 drunk people just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
falling down beside you. Yeah.
Let's put Brad Pitt and George Clooney in the middle of Vegas
Yeah.
and see if we can
What
actually get a
happens.
sequence
Yeah.
versus let's just green screen this and be in the confines of a fucking studio.
Yeah.
I pulled a list as always because it's fun to debate other people's ideas. 10 worst films shot entirely on green screen by Screen Rant. Number 10, Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Oh
my
yeah, that
God.
was a big one that like came out. I'm gonna guess 04.
Yep.
Was it 04?
Yep.
Nice guess.
I just said that because I
Not
didn't
a
know.
guess. I know my shit. but Jude Law came like that movie. They tried
Angelina
to pump it.
Jolie, Jude Law, big above the line.
Yes, and they was very costly. That movie failed hard.
It's
but
a
it was
big
all,
burn.
It was a whole CGI film. It looked very cool. It looked like a comic book, but it failed really badly. I remember kind of liking it because it was trying to do film noir.
Well, it was before Sin City.
Yes.
Sin City is awesome.
06, I think.
We'll get to it. It's on the list.
Oh, okay.
Number 9, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. So that's the sequel.
Well, that's a sequel.
yeah.
Joseph
9 years
Gordon-Levitt.
had passed since the original was released.
I like.
I never
Dame
saw
to
the
Kill.
sequel.
It's okay. It's not. It's forgettable, but it's
Yeah.
just kind of fun to watch.
Fair.
Yeah.
I like the first one, so I tend to not bother with sequels if I really enjoy.
I own the first, and I may have rewatched it once or twice here and there. I haven't revisited that movie in years, but I'm wondering if it holds up. I feel like I feel like it might be problematic. I feel like something in it might
Sin
be
City?
problematic. Yeah.
Okay, so the
I don't know.
original Sin City was Nick Kroll's character, not Nick Kroll, Nick from Transformers, the guy who went crazy and got lost, and then came back and has actually had a career. What the fuck's his
Nick
name?
Nolte?
Nick Stahl.
No, Nick Stahl.
Nick Stahl. He had a
Right.
he had a little
Nick Stahl
little bit of a
is in
hiccup. I
it.
shouldn't say crazy. He had a little bit of a hiccup.
Haven't we all?
Yeah, exactly. But I
Stahl
don't.
is in it?
Okay, he gets shot. Yeah, he's the pervert who gets shot in the balls.
Right. You're
The
right.
big yellow ball.
Oh,
with
the
Yes,
yellow
he
head,
turns
yeah.
into Yellow Man.
Yeah, Yellow Man. I don't know how. I mean, there's sexploitation
I don't
everywhere
know.
in it.
Jessica, what's her name? Jessica Alba.
Jessica Alba.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
What's his face?
Bruce Willis.
But his partner from Reservoir Dogs. What's his name? The guy who cuts off the ear.
I don't remember.
He's in Free Willy. Come on, somebody.
Nope.
The dad in Free Willy, Vincent Vega, plays Vincent Vega.
Nope.
That's fine. 800 Rise, 8 is 300 Rise of an Empire. 800 is 3.
So another good movie, 300.
All Frank Miller movies.
But yeah, all Frank Miller movies. Yeah.
Number.
I like 300. Yeah.
I liked it, but Rise of an Empire. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rise of an Empire is only good
Oh, is
because
that a sequel?
that was a sequel.
I didn't even
yeah.
know-
Sorry.
I didn't even
forgot
know there
about
was
that
one.
movie. I remember it came out. I never watched it.
Again, forgettable.
Yeah,
Thank you.
exactly.
Speed Racer 100% on a computer.
Okay, wait. Sorry. To go back to these low budget like Frank Miller sequels that were like Dame to Kill did get a theoretical release. I don't know about the 300 sequel.
No, it
But,
didn't.
like-
That was straight to DVD.
Okay, so that makes sense too. Like
It's Ava
they-
Green too. Like it's not a bad movie. It's
Oh,
just
really? Ava,
once
but, like,
you find out that they all die, it's really hard to give a shit about the next crew coming through.
but it also makes sense to like they probably had a lower budget. They're like, let's see if we can milk anything out of this.
Yeah,
And
because
they
the
were
movie
just
did
like-
so well. It was
Yeah,
such
exactly.
A big hit.
And they're like, well, no one wants to invest into
Here's
a
another
full
50
sequel.
million. Do it in the fucking editing room and call it a day.
I will motherfucking defend Speed Racers to my grave. It's on my top 10 list of like, or top 50 list of all time. I love.
It's the Wachowskis' follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Like it
was their blank check. Yeah.
It was obviously their blank check, and it's a fun ride. Like that's a theater movie.
No pun intended.
No. Wow. You're
All
next,
day
Emily.
Buzz.
6 Star Wars: Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Number
Okay.
5 Star Wars: Phantom Menace.
I need to say one quick thing
I like
about Star
certain
Wars.
aspects of that
Yes.
movie. Yeah.
And I would not have probably said this previous to like the last few years, but I have rewatched Star Wars, Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones with children.
Mhm.
And that is very clearly what those movies are made for.
They are.
They were very clearly made to bring a new generation of Star Wars fans into the fold. And it's effective and it's fun. And if you have an opportunity, everybody listening, find yourself a child. Hopefully, carefully, legally borrow one from a friend, or use your own, and watch Star Wars: Phantom Menace with them because you'll rediscover, I think, the magic of Star Wars.
I like Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I like
I
the
love
pod
them all.
racing.
I do too.
Like, yeah, I don't like it's again like Phantom Menace. I was so young when it came out. I rewatched that movie so many times. I like pod racing. I love the end final battle scene,
Yep.
obviously, because everyone loves Duels of Fate. And Attack Clones. I like the B storyline with Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
like
yes.
that's a really good storyline with him. Like,
finding out
the
how
clones.
Django and
Yep.
Boba were a part of the whole
Yeah.
Yeah,
thing,
there's a
and
great-
Order 66
the,
and all
the,
that
the
stuff.
rain, the
Absolutely.
rain scene where he's fighting Django Fett in the rain.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
no, I honestly think they're good movies.
Yep.
And I'm defending them because I understand what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
My
and
problem,
I appreciate it.
It's
my
sorry.
problem was 1, 2, and 3 have all of the Star Wars love that you want in the film.
Yeah.
That wasn't lost because it was George Lucas being like, I owe you a story, so I know my story. I know what to tell you. And you're right. It's a kid's movie. It was for a younger generation. I was camping out in high school when we went to go see that
Yeah.
and was like there for the 12 o'clock midnight releases. And it's part of the family. You can't, even if some of the family's ugly and drunk, you still have to have them at the Christmas table, right?
Yeah, that's literally the way of saying it. Yeah.
At the same time, I got really butthurt when they tried to take what they made in those movies and insert them into 3, 4, 5, and 6. The re-release VHS cut of or the DVD re-release
DVD, yeah.
of like a giant, like
Oh,
3 more
that
Boba
shit.
Fett's
Yeah,
sliding down
yeah,
the
yeah.
street.
I did.
That stuff pissed
I
me
remember going to
off.
Return of the Jedi for
yeah.
the re-release,
Yeah.
and was like the ending where they're all cheering. They show around like different of the different
Yeah, the
worlds
different
and stuff,
worlds.
and I'm like, oh god,
That's
this was awful.
so funny because I imagine that like my parents and their had the same reaction to like the VHS re-release, the like digitally remastered.
Yeah.
I think they were probably like, oh, what's wrong with the original version? So like, okay, old man, just it's fine.
I watched a cut scene from Empire where Luke is building his, it's a cut scene from Return where Luke is building his lightsaber.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And the lightsaber Kypher crystals are going between red, green, red, green, red, green. And he's got a force connection with... What the hell's wrong with the mic?
Oh no.
He's got a force connection with Vader at the time. And in this connection, Vader's like, I am your father, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, whatever. But that's the stuff that you should put back
Yeah,
in.
that's
Yeah.
fucking
Not
cool.
this edited computer
know.
VFX shit that like stands out because it is so good,
Yeah.
because it is so perfect, because it is so new. Why the fuck are you doing like you completely ruin the visual experience?
It's funny how like I've forgotten. I remember more of Phantom Attack,
Sith, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith than the latest films. Like,
Oh,
I don't-
yeah.
like I'm like those are so forgotten in my
Yeah,
head. Like
no, me too.
like I haven't really rewatched Last Jedi. I've rewatched
Solo.
Force Awakens a
Yeah.
few times, but that's the only one I've rewatched.
You know
more
what?
than
It's
once.
it's
Rise of
all
Skywalker
about
is great to me.
the like development of your brain at the time that you were watching it,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Those
right.
are all that
Yeah.
came out when we were kids.
I could
and-
stretch the
or the
fantasy
shit you're
a bit more.
smoking to stop your brain from developing.
Yeah, that's also
yeah,
true.
exactly.
That's a good point.
Rest of the list, Justice League is on it, the original one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, fair. Good
Doesn't
point.
surprise me one bit.
Yep.
Number 3, The Spirit. Number 2.
I like The Spirit. I remember watching it and liking it.
Was that Robert Rodriguez too?
It is. It's Frank Miller as well.
Okay. 2, Spy Kids 3D Game Over.
Oh my god, that
I
movie's so
I
ridiculous.
barely remember that movie.
Is that the one with where they like go into the
Yeah.
video game?
Yes.
Yes,
That
100%.
movie's terrible.
Yes, the movie I think did really well at the box office.
Number 1, Adventures of Shark Boy and
Lava
Girl.
Girl. I also remember that.
My
movie.
kids love these movies.
Yeah.
Let's see best
They would.
location.
I remember the
shot.
scene in Attack of the Clones where Natalie Portman's running through the machine and is trying to break her, and I remember that looking really bad CGI
Yeah.
or VR green screen, whatever. And they showed the making of, and it's just her on like a treadmill jumping, and, like there's nothing there. It's
Oh well.
like, roll, now jump, now roll. It's like a video game. Like, it's
I
Crash
mean,
Bandicoot.
rolling on a treadmill is difficult. I think.
I'm sure, yeah. she did great.
So, Petra Jordan from Indiana Jones.
Oh yes, I was actually thinking of Indiana Jones when we were talking about on location.
Right? Like
Yeah.
the
Wait.
castle entrance.
Oh, that I was just like, what are you
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah,
Petra
Dan
Jordan?
said he's been there.
You
It's
can
like
yeah,
he's
you can
seen it.
actually go there.
Interesting.
Amazing.
Hobbitville, Lord of the Rings, New
Right,
Zealand,
yes,
obviously,
yes.
real Hobbit holes. Midnight Express, they shot it in Turkey,
Oh, interesting.
which is have you ever seen Midnight
I've
Express?
actually never seen.
No,
Midnight
I
Express,
haven't.
yeah.
True story about a guy who tries to smuggle hash out of Turkey, and then he gets put into a Turkish prison,
Whoops.
and
Okay.
you experience the Turkish prison system and how like every day they just get up and walk around a post in the middle of this dark room. That's like they go insane.
Mhm.
But he does break out and he does get free and he does get home and.
I
It's
wanna
like
s-
take the prison sequence from Dark Knight when he's trying to get out of the hole.
Yep.
That's what this whole movie is.
I have a guess to something that's going to be on the list.
Oh, okay.
Alcatraz.
Well, we're at 17,
Yeah.
and we've got.
Oh, you mean The Rock?
Yeah.
It's got to be. It's got to be because they did shoot there.
Yeah.
The beach in Thailand actually exists. The movie
In-
The Beach.
Oh, for the
The
beach.
beach?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
you can
Good
go
movie.
there. Well, they've
Go.
closed it
Danny
since
Boyle.
because
Leonardo
that
DiCaprio.
film launched so many people to bum rush it that
Oh,
they
yeah,
actually
I'm
had to
sure.
close it. Italy for The Godfather 3.
Yeah, makes
They-
sense.
that makes
yeah, all
sense.
these make sense, you know.
Harry Potter London, totally.
Yes,
You can't
of
you
course,
can't
yeah.
not. Hawaii was Jurassic Park. We all know that. Also
Mhm.
Lost,
Oh yeah.
right? Midnight in Paris, obviously Paris,
Paris.
France. The last we'll talk about him. Batman: The Dark Knight was shot in Hong Kong for the when they
Oh yeah, when
when
they do the stealing of the guy.
stealing of the guy and they bring him to America. Angels and Demons shot in Italy,
Ugh, that movie.
running around Vatican City, obviously.
That's cool.
Right. Mad Max was Nambia, the
Oh,
original Mad
didn't know
Max.
that.
Oh no, the remake is
I was gonna
actually
say the original
That is,
Mad
sorry.
Max?
Yeah.
that's probably the desert in California. Doctor Strange really went to Kathmandu.
Wow, I didn't know that.
That's cool.
That's pretty neat.
That's kind of cool. I'm trying to think like they
the-
use it. Well,
The Mission, which I believe is with Sean Connery, it's like an old '80s movie.
Never heard of it.
They shot in Argentina. Mamma Mia, they really went to Greece.
Mamma Mia.
Laura Croft really went to Cambodia.
New Laura Croft or old?
Probably,
Probably new. Old one.
old.
Yeah, like
I don't think
Angelina.
New would try to do it.
Well, the new one
without-
they look pretty much in the jungle and stuff. It's a pretty good the new one. Anyways.
My biography, Memoirs of a Geisha Girl, went to Kyoto, Japan.
Right.
Django went to Louisiana with those big, huge sweeping
Django.
trees and
That's
the,
a movie I've not revisited.
Django, like
and
the-
that rich white person house that Don Johnson comes out of.
Yeah.
Like that's
I-
definitely old
I have
Louisiana.
not revisited, nor do I think I want to, because I never really liked that movie that much.
No.
It's a hard movie to watch.
Yeah, it just did not hit the right way. I did not care for it. I don't know. I have my love-hate with Tarantino.
Everybody has
Yes,
a
I think
yeah.
I
we
mean,
all-
everyone. I think everyone who enjoys Tarantino, in the back of your head, you're kind of like, I really wish I didn't, because
Yeah,
this guy
yeah,
is
yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah, he's kind of gross.
It's hard to
Yeah.
enjoy him as a whole.
Yeah.
You have to pick your moments and your scenes and your conversations that
like
he has.
Inglourious Bastards is like a perfect.
I
film.
like his
I love
movies. I just
Inglourious
everything
Basterds.
about him makes me like uncomfortable. Like, I
That's the
would never.
thing.
I don't want to be anywhere near Quentin
Yeah, same.
Tarantino ever.
127 hours was in Utah.
Ooh, so good.
Avatar was in China.
Ooh, not good.
Not good.
Mediocre. Actually, I rewatched it on the plane recently, and I was like, I don't hate this movie. I think it's okay.
That movie.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So, like the mountain sequences, the Himalayan rising floating mountains or
Yep.
whatever. That's what China inspired in the film. They actually
I
didn't
see.
shoot there.
I see.
They just used. I was like, how do you shoot Avatar in China?
I fell asleep in the theaters during Avatar.
I
Then
think
when I
I
saw it.
would have.
I did.
I was very tired. I went to a midnight screening.
I
on
wasn't even very
Thursday.
tired. I was just so bored. I was like, oh, so it's Fern Gully.
It is Fern Gully.
What's
but
the
longer.
Lead, what's
It
the,
is. I rewatching. I was kind of like, this is okay. This movie's not as bad as I thought it was.
And
It's
then
pretty okay.
I just went home and watched Fern Gully and was like, yep, much
Fern
better.
Gully's so much better. There's a rap.
So,
And a bat.
And a
what
bat-
was the
bat
name
rapping.
of the lead character? What was the name of the male character in Avatar?
I just watched it.
I don't even remember.
Is it Sam?
Ryan?
It's
Sully.
Brian.
Jack
Sully. Sorry.
I
Ask
think
me
it's
again.
Jack
Ask
Sully.
me again. Ask me again.
What was the lead character?
Jack Sully.
The point is that none of us remember any of these characters because we fucking left the movie. It
But
was,
when you asked me, I said Jack Sully.
I know,
I heard him.
I know, but I'm not going to edit this to make you sound right. I know that's what you're doing. So like even what's his face just said that I don't think anybody's going to come see the film because they don't remember the characters. Like it's a problem. Avatar 2's coming,
Yeah.
but like it took 20 years to fucking make. Like you make movies for these monumentous events. You don't like Cameron doesn't make a film to be a filmmaker. He makes this film to be like, everyone remember me. I'm still relevant, and then
It's
I'm gonna go
do well.
I fucking hate that it's gonna
I know,
do
I
well.
do too. I didn't care for the trailer. I don't care for the movie. I don't know. It's
You're
really
he makes a movie to sell a new product that the entire industry will use, and then goes away. And he was like, "Oh, I'll just make another movie and invent a product, and everyone will use it." It fucking pisses
I'm not
me
saying
off.
I'm not saying I like the guy, but like
I mean, this sounds like a good life plan to me.
like
You
dude-
can't
dude
argue
fucking-
against
dude
it, but
fucking banks on his films.
yeah.
last one, number one, Star Trek Beyond was Dubai.
Ooh.
That's
So The Rock's not
very,
on there.
Very weird list. I don't know. I agree. If I
This
like
was the
list.
travel channels, the travel.com channel. So I just
I'm gonna
first-
go. I'm actually going to LA in
Yeah.
a couple months. I'm gonna go to Alcatraz. I'm gonna do the
It's
like.
in San Francisco. So
Sorry, San Francisco. Sorry,
so
I'm going to
that's-
San Francisco and then LA. Sorry, San Francisco and then we're going to LA. So I'm gonna do San Francisco. There's a nighttime boat
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
can
know, yeah.
take, and it's like a creepy nighttime tour.
Yeah, it's very cool. I've never done it, but I've always wanted to.
I'm gonna do
I
it.
just imagine you in LA going,
Just like,
where the
where's
fuck's that
Alca-
giant prison?
Where's Alcatraz? You're like,
It's like-
can I interest you in the Hollywood
yeah,
sign?
you're Canadian, aren't you?
Yeah.
For our Winnipeg listeners, I thought it would be remiss if we didn't just before we kick into our next segment here to go over some of the films that were filmed here that you may not know. were
Every
actually
Hallmark
filmed here.
movie, Christmas movie ever.
This is true. This is very true. But stuff like, okay, for example, I think when it got big, we'll start there to make it easy. But Capote was really,
Capote was a nominated Oscar film.
yeah, and like everybody in town had a chance to get a piece of that. I think at the time who was
Yeah.
in the film industry.
I fucked with Capote.
You fucked with Capote?
You know, I fucked Capote.
Directly.
But Capote played for the what were we? The Midwest, Kansas, Missouri.
I don't remember.
I don't. Yeah, it was somewhere in the
It was a
Midwest
very
of
slow
America.
film.
It was- yeah. What else do we have? We have the Constant Gardener actually shot segments here.
Really? I
yeah,
did not know
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
That's Ralph Fiennes and
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz.
Interesting.
We've got Faces in the Crowd with Lilu. Pardon. I can
Oh,
never-
yeah.
Mila Jovovich. That was shot here, and also one of the dudes from Nip Tuck. Julian McMahon was in that
yes,
movie.
Yes.
Goon. We obviously
Goon.
we doubled
Shawn
as
Michael.
Sean William Scott.
Shawn William Scott.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn
I want
Michaels
Shawn
Scott?
Michaels in it.
Shawn Michael Scott. Shawn William Scott. Yeah.
Jay Baruchel, and I think not Ellen Page. No, I can't remember.
Oh, Alison Pill.
Yes, Alison Pill.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We doubled, I think, for the East Coast for that.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
K-19, the Windowmaker.
Yes,
I
that's a big
think
one.
we were
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford
And Gimli.
Yeah.
in Gimli, sinking the sub at the end of the film.
Yep.
The Lookout. I think we
Great movie.
played America as well too. Joseph
Joseph
Gordon-Levitt and
Daniel, Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels and Michael. He played what's his face in The Watchmen.
I don't remember him, but I was gonna say what's Bruno Borat's wife in Wedding Crashers.
Oh, Amy, not Amy Adams.
Yeah, the other one, Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. Shot at like
Great movie. I own it still. Yeah, I
before it
watched
was Don Pedro's, whatever
really?
that bar
yes,
was.
Yes, you're right. Yeah,
I
very good movie though.
Siberia with
Siberia.
Nicolas Cage.
I hate that we had.
Not Nicolas Cage.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
I hate that we're Siberia, but it's so accurate.
Right? One Last Dance. I don't know what that
No,
is.
Save the Last Dance.
Well,
No,
yeah.
no.
Sorry, no wait.
No, shall we dance?
Shall
We
We
Dance,
dance was
yeah.
shot here. Richard Gere.
Jennifer
Which I think we were
Lopez.
Chicago at the time
We
as
were
well
Chicago for that one.
too. New in Town. I think we were Chicago again with
I don't
Renee
know that one.
Zellweger.
Oh, that one, right. I never watched that.
What else do we have here? We've got Violent Night, which just shot. Which I don't know what we were for Violent Night.
Was that the Russo brother ones?
No, Violent Night is the what's his face from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that's Russo brothers.
That's Russo brothers.
Produced.
Really?
Oh, cool.
Yes, my friend who wants to be on the podcast, my ex. She
Hi.
she was like she's a pretty semi big lead in that one.
Yeah, bring her on.
We'll
Yeah.
dude, we'll talk. Anyways, no, it's Asa Butterfield and what's her face from Stranger Things.
What's his face from
What's
Stranger?
her face?
Her face.
The Natalia something Dyer, I think. Her
Yes,
name is?
Natalia Dyer. Yes, that's the name. So that's coming out Christmas. I know that. But like, there's a ton of stuff that we double for, which is primarily, I think, Chicago, Midwestern America,
There's
the
a-
Plains.
There was a film called A Reasonable Doubt. It was I'm in that movie.
Oh, that was a Samuel L. Jackson
Samuel L.
film.
Jackson and the guy, I can't remember his actor. He's Preacher in the show Preacher.
Yes.
But he plays young Tony Stark's dad in Captain America
He
1.
does.
Oh, wow.
And so, anyways, I got to steal his car in a scene,
Sweet.
and so he yelled at me.
Yeah, the person who made this list did not include that there.
No, it's a very small movie. It was on Netflix at one point.
Don't
It's not
they
very
care
good
that
either.
Ian's in it?
It's not. And I also did lighting on that movie, ironically enough, which is like funny. That's when I was starting my film career.
So
yeah.
let's move on to second breakfast here.
Second breakfast?
Second breakfast, because I know we're on a time crunch here with Emily. I don't want to keep it too late. So as mentioned, one does a lot of things to be an adult. You got to do chores, you got to do laundry, you got to do dishes, you got to do all these things. Otherwise, your house is going to be a pile of fucking messiness. And in that process, if you're a true cinephile, more often than not, you probably have one of your favorite TV shows or favorite films on in the background if no one else is at home, maybe, and you want to feel like someone's in the other room. If you just want some background noise that's comforting while you're ironing. And then, like, Iron Man's playing, and you're like, I know this sequence, right? Like, I don't need to be there. It's just nice to know. I think we all have something like that. If you don't, you have no soul. So I kind of wanted to go around the room and just have our favorite picks. Mark came up with this really good idea where I shut the fuck up when we rapid fire instead of just like, and then you keep going,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
Instead of
I like
really
that.
pulling the yarn on that one. So, Emily, I know you were like, this is my fucking jam.
Oh, this one's so good.
What's your first one?
Oh, okay. I actually have so many. And so I have a lot that I want to do, like honorable mentions, but I'm going to do the one that is like my main. This is like my bottom bitch. Come back to this one every single time. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Oh my God. I
totally. Yeah.
love Buffy. Inside
good.
Out and Backwards. That show is excellent. I was heartbroken when I learned how just like absolutely problematic and terrible Joss Whedon is.
Yep.
Because everything Joss Whedon's done, I just love. Including
If
Dollhouse.
you're a self-aware person, you're allowed to like the show.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
bitch on the fucker.
I just
at
it
the
it
same
sucks
time.
just the way that I heard that he treated all the women on the
Yeah.
show and everything, but the female lead characters, the banter, the
So good.
storylines, everything.
How do you feel about Angel?
I loved Angel.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it. I loved Dollhouse. I loved Firefly. I've loved
Fringe?
all of it. Yeah, no, I've loved all of it. But there's just, especially the early seasons of Buffy where they're in
Season
high
3
school.
is perfect. I love
Yeah.
season 3.
And where they're in high school and they're doing the high school things. Again, I love the simplicity
Yep.
of that like time in your life. And I'm always down for movies and shows about that. And there's just one of the early episodes, Cordelia Chase is just such an amazing character.
So funny.
And
The
there's
Wish episode.
oh yeah, where she wishes Buffy was never born.
Yeah.
or
They don't
never
write
came to
TV like this
Sunnydale.
anymore, where you guys can be like the Wish episode or this
Yeah.
episode.
I
Like
know.
they
I know.
you don't do that because you don't write in a singular
binge.
fashion.
And that's where
You binge too
yeah.
hard.
they introduce Anya, right?
Yep.
And Wish Buffy never
Yes.
came to Sunnydale.
Yeah.
But no, there's just this one scene where Cordelia walks up and she's like, "Sorry to interrupt your downward mobility, but gym class has been canceled due to extreme dead guy in a locker." And like, there's just things like that,
I love-
right?
I
just
love-
Well, it's the blending of high school
Oh.
kids killing vampires.
right.
It's nonsensical, but it fucking worked for 10 years.
Seth Green has like a part where he talks about like, what type of party is this when Buffy comes
Oh,
back?
yeah, he's like, a
"Is it
shindig or a
hoot-
hoedown?"
a hoedown or a hootenanny?
A hootenanny,
You know,
yeah.
It's like, well, what's the difference? Well, you know, should
Yeah, he's like,
hootenanny.
well,
You don't want me to get started on a hootenanny?
He's like, "Well, that sounds like a hootenanny." Yeah, absolutely.
and I've used that phrase my entire time when people are like, I'm like, what type of hang is this? Is
Yeah.
Is it hootenanny? Is this shindig? Is this jig? What are we doing
yeah,
here?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's so
There's just
funny.
it's so good. There's so many great characters. I thought that I could never like love a man more than Angel, and then Spike came along, and just like everything. And Riley, I was obsessed with Riley.
I like
when
Riley.
He was such a sweetheart of a character.
Was he like the guy who knew all this
Military,
shit?
military
He was
guy.
a military guy
Season
that
4.
was that
Okay.
was part of
Season 4
the.
to
My
5.
parents,
The, like,
it's their
secret
jam. It was
military.
never mine.
Oh,
I
You
didn't.
missed out.
it's
I
just
love the film.
yeah.
Christy
movie.
Swanson.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Good-
she
good
had.
film.
I'm sure I had a poster.
Also, good Playboy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking about porn again. Yeah. you
It's-
fuck-
How do we always come back to this?
It's always good. It's a good Playboy.
You're 1/7 a bunch of dudes, Emily.
I
That's
know,
how
I know,
we
I
come
know.
back to this.
She did it good.
No, yeah, but honestly, it's my favorite, and so I do have a ton more, but I'm gonna start with Buffy.
Okay, we got Buffy on the floor. What about you?
The Simpsons. I know it's
can't,
background
uh,
noise. I can't
well,
like it's like go to.
But like, I don't know how to talk about this with him, Emily.
You know what? The Simpsons is one of those things that like it either shaped who you are as a person and
Yeah.
all of the references that you have from your childhood,
It is.
or it didn't, and you don't get any of it. And then when you play like a game where you have to do Simpsons references or something like
know.
that, everybody hates it. And that's the difference. Is like me and my husband. Like Dan never watched any of the Simpsons.
Yeah.
He doesn't get Simpsons
Oh my
references.
God, there's another one like me.
Yeah, it's just not part of his like vernacular.
But it's my like background noise. Like
Mhm.
when I'm not feeling well, I'll put on a random episode and I just feel good and I just can leave it on and walk away.
That's
Yeah.
And then
because
pop
it's
in
so
and out.
woven into the culture.
And I know
Yes.
it. Like I don't need to even like I know the jokes, I know the beats, I know everything. Like and that's the thing I've read recently. You said it earlier about how like if you're an anxious person,
Anxiety. Yep.
rewatching something really calms you down. And so I
Yep.
do a lot of rewatch like this.
Same. Rewatch, reread.
Reread,
Re-listen.
rewatch. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's comfort in knowing that us three neurodivergents clearly.
Yeah.
You know, like repetition is for people who like who are okay with change, but at the same time, you don't want it in your everyday life.
Oh, yeah.
And
Predictability is
Yes,
my
that's
is
how
my absolute happy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand. I started watching The Simpsons actually after what went down at
Yeah.
The Handsome Daughter, and I left all that blood on the floor. What you
I missed too.
but like everything just came back to Mike's never seen The Simpsons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
It's
oh, that's-
Mike's mom never let him watch The Simpsons.
and she
That
was there.
That was the
She
real-
was right too.
Yeah.
But I basically said in front of everybody, I was like, well, my mom is here if you want to blame her. And then everyone.
I heard
So-
about this. I
so
think
we
you talked
did.
about this.
So,
yeah.
But Lost.
Mm-hmm.
As a background noise?
Yeah.
Interesting. I rewatched the Desmond
the
episode.
Desmond lines.
The episode where he is back forth. I rewatched that randomly one day because I was
See
like,
you in another
yeah.
life, brother.
Yeah. So good. I love Desmond. So
I love it
Interesting show.
because it was one of the. I think it was one of the first shows where my maturity for looking beyond the skin of a thing, right?
Right.
Like looking at character development, looking
Right.
at story.
an onion one might
Yeah,
say.
it's fucking ogre and layers, perhaps.
Yeah.
Perfect.
and really getting married to Jack and Kate
Well-
and everybody's experience, but really it was so genuine because you could like what would you do on that island? And every time they run into a thing, whatever I'm doing, I just know that this is where Wyatt's having this problem and they can't find him, or this is where Locke is doing
Eating an orange.
eating fruit and being pensive.
I think season 1 of Lost is similar to season 1 of the OC, where
One of
it's
the best.
it's one of like it's just so strong. Like that pilot is one of just like a perfect. It's so good. Like
It is.
It's 2 hours long, but it's so good.
And it brings you into every you get off the plane with everybody.
Yeah.
It seems like
Yeah.
you're not late to the party once Jack starts running, and then the fucking engine's blowing up, and it's like give him a trachea. He's trying to do the dumb guy's trying to do the trachea.
It takes away everything we know. Like it not takes away, but like it's different from what we know of Lord of the Flies. Alive, like all these other situational
Yeah.
plane crash films.
Trapped on an island. Can't
Trapped
get
on an
out.
island, yeah, and we're like, oh no, something's like askewed here, and you see it in the first like 10 minutes, and you know all these like you know everyone has a story just off the bat because everyone's acting not fully themselves but the polite version of themselves, and you can just feel it all.
You can look at them
Yeah.
and be like, I know that Jun and her husband
Yes.
are. There's something there, and what on the skin it looks
Yes.
like
the character types,
but they,
right? They underlie it, yeah.
But underneath is this huge story, and I bet you when Lindelof,
Damien Lindelof.
Lindelof,
Sorry,
thank you.
Lindelof, yes.
I bet you when he pitched it, he was like, yeah, we're going to do this show, but in the process of the show, we're going to show you who they were before they got on the island.
Right.
Because everything else is they land on the island and it's forward.
Yeah.
We want to know what's going to make them these characters on this island, so you got to have current story and backstory, and it was this brilliant, the way they weave through time.
Yep.
You can walk into it, and you've got a show within a show. And that's what I like about it. I can either be like, are we on the island? Right? And I know how to, I'm just like, oh, they're on the island. They're going on back. Oh, Harley's driving through the woods now, right? Like, I know. And then are they themselves? And those are the moments where I actually will sit down and stop what I'm doing and be like, oh, this is where Sawyer's being a dick and a con man, right? Like,
Interesting.
and it's
just not a feel-good show. That's
it's
the
not a
funny thing.
feel-good show, but it's a feel-good show to me because now
Like it's not even episodic enough.
You know
for
what
it
to
be a
expect.
feel-good.
I know what to expect, but I also this was the first set of characters that I fell for.
Right.
That when the show ended, I felt lost. I had no purpose. Like there was literally. Oh, there it is again.
There it is.
Sorry for the microphone, kids. I don't know what's going on with this thing today. I think there might be something with my air conditioning, so I
I
apologize.
had a bunch of Rice Krispies.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah, a little pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
All right,
It's okay.
next one, which everybody who was a girl around the same age as I am is probably going to know that this one comes. If you were watching Buffy, you probably watched right before Buffy came on, Gilmore Girls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. So Gilmore Girls, again, I know that show like the back of my hand. Those characters are like my best friends. I loved it. I took the day off of work.
The
when-
mother-daughter, young parent angle
Oh, yeah.
was really
Yeah, I took the day off work when Gilmore Girls: A Year in the Life came out. I was just like, I
Is
can't
that
go to
Netflix
work.
thing that came out? a
Yeah,
couple years
I was like,
ago?
I can't go to work today. This is too important to my self-identity.
Right.
But yeah, no, Gilmore Girls is same thing. I can throw on any episode, anytime. And not only is the dialogue is so fast, the cadence of the show is so fast.
They're
but
all. It's very good writing.
But I know
Also-
it. I know it all. And so I can throw it on. I know exactly what's going to happen next. I know what the punchline's going to be. I know what the speed and the delivery is going to be, and it feels like home.
I've talked about this on this podcast, but they teach. Is it my microphone? Am I the popper?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know.
But they teach.
Sorry, listener.
In screenwriting classes, they use Gilmore Girl episodes as like a way of teaching writing because of how much dialogue they put in. Because their scripts were
Like twice as long as
twice as
regular
long,
episodes.
but at the same time, like it would be like still like a 40-minute show.
Yeah.
So
It's like
it
kind of
was
like
The 42.
Aaron Sorkin.
42,
Yeah,
whatever.
the
Yeah, it's sort of like
42
very
Sorkin-esque. Yeah.
Sorkin-esque. Very Sorkin.
Very West Wing.
Yeah.
Quick.
Very West
Everybody
Wing.
had their
Yeah.
everybody had their personality traits.
Yep.
And Daniel and Amy Sherman Palladino, like any shows that they've made since then are similar. Like if you get to see like the Marvelous Miss Maisel,
Yep.
it's very,
Oh,
very
that's theirs
similar to
too?
that.
That's theirs
yeah.
as well.
Oh man,
Um,
she's so good. She was
Bun-
from House of Cards.
But
She was one of the girls. I think she was the prostitute in House of Cards that got
Nice.
caught up in everything.
Maisel, like the person who
Yeah,
plays
the
Maisel?
person who plays
Rachel
Maisel.
Bronson or
Yeah,
whatever?
Yeah.
Rachel Bronson. Like she
So
was a
she's so
background
good.
character for so
Interesting.
long
She's so good.
and
She's,
owns that show.
Yeah.
She's like I don't know, like such a hard crush on her. Like every time I watch Maisel, I go, oh my god.
And she's amazing.
And what's her face from Mad TV is like her writing partner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I look like a man.
I have my issues with Gilmore Girls, and I watch both of them, and I really like both of them. I don't like the parents subplot that is always in both shows.
Like Richard and Emily Gilmore.
In both shows, I don't
Oh
care enough about the parents.
my
They're
God. Emily
fine.
Gilmore is my favorite character in Gilmore
Clearly,
Girls.
you need to
as
buy
it's
the
come-
cow if you're going to have the milk.
I know,
carrier
no,
with
I know.
Emily.
But but it's because I like the lead so much more. You know, like
I guess
so.
so. Maybe it probably took a few watches, and by a few I mean like a few dozen.
Yeah,
But
to really
but
get
at
in
some
there.
point, I really caught the I don't know, the development, the richness of
Yeah.
the Gilmores.
Yeah.
And it came down to like at the end of it when I look back, Emily Gilmore is like just the most amazing character in
Right.
the show.
It's that feel-good, down home, small town,
Right.
Yes.
American, like not even town, like county,
Yeah.
right?
So, like a tiny little
Isn't
it,
she pregnant at the end of
Yes,
the
and
thing?
you don't
Yeah.
know who
You don't
the
know who the
father
father
is.
is.
It doesn't.
Did
I
they
will
ever tie
say-
in the show Ed with it? Do I feel that they
No.
tied Ed in
Nope,
with
I don't
Gilmore
think
Girls?
so.
No?
No.
Okay.
I will say though, it doesn't
Different
age. It
networks.
doesn't age particularly well. Some of the jokes aren't
I
great.
noticed that.
There's a lot of homophobia
Yep.
in it. There's a lot of fat
Yeah,
phobia.
especially with what's his face?
Again, them counties in America don't
Yeah.
have the
So
best,
what's
you know.
the guy, the coffee shop guy?
Luke.
Luke, yeah, with Luke, I find.
Yeah, lots of Luke and Kirk. There's a
Kirk,
lot of
yeah.
gay jokes and
Yes.
stuff. So that doesn't age super well. But I also actually find that like the body shaming stuff, that's an Amy Sherman Palladino thing. Like it goes forward into Bunheads and into Maisel.
Yeah, I noticed that. too.
Yeah, so I think she just might be like hyper fixated as a person, like a real human being, on like weight and body image, and so it comes out in her writing.
One of my I love season 5 of Gilmore Girls where Luke, I think it's season 5 where Luke and they
Finally
and
get-
they
Luke
get
and Lorelai
together, but
finally
he
get
but he
together.
sits, they have dinner, and he just goes like,
I'm all in.
I'm all in.
Yeah.
If we do this. And it's just like this moment where I think of like I've been in that situation where I'm like I'm head over heel in this person. But
Yeah.
they clearly aren't in me. But I've been in that moment where I think that way. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I get that feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't watch all of it, but for a minute, it would just bring me such joy. Was Big Bang?
Oh yes,
Ew.
I agree. I like Big Bang.
I don't. You know what, Ian?
Ew.
Normally, I don't prescribe to public broadcast. 30
I don't
to
care
22
about public
minute.
broadcast. I just think it's a bad show.
I think the characters are fun. They become your best friends again.
Ew.
Seeing a nerd on TV excel in the lead role
like,
instead of being
like the
butt.
most cliched version of a nerd.
Oh, that's fine. I know the industry I'm
I
up
know
against,
people
right? Like
just
that doesn't.
like that.
I
Maybe
know.
not-
I get they has its fan base. Its show had like a huge following.
Those were
Yeah.
those were the remnants of like the $20 million viewers a night.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
need to sell me on the show. I'm just gonna say you.
I love. So
Fair enough.
I actually love the
She gets
format.
me.
I do. I love the format. I was actually.
Chuck Lorre. It's a 2.5
Yeah.
men format. It's
I was
it's
saying
all
to
those situational
Dan
comedies.
just the other day, like I need a new 30-minute show.
30 Rock.
Because 30 Rock, I just finished watching again.
Ballers.
So yeah, and
Oh,
then
Ballers.
Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec.
Again.
Hacks.
New Girl.
New Girl.
Oh,
I like
absolutely.
I
yeah.
like New Girl a lot.
Absolutely.
How do we say her name, by the way?
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel.
It's not Zooey?
No,
It's Zoe.
It's Zoe?
Zoe and my daughter Zoe gets really mad that people like Zoe Deschanel spell their name the way they do because
It's Zoe.
she spells because my daughter's name is Z-O-E. Classic, right?
Yeah.
And then she's like, why do people have Z-O-E-Y and Z-O-O-Y and like all this stupid stuff? She's like, that's not how you spell it.
Yeah,
So if I
she's
see
great.
2 O's, I don't go,
So
oh,
Zoe
I go,
Deschanel,
ooh.
this is your fault. No, I'm just kidding. It's your
Uh,
mom's fault.
Is that show great?
It's good.
For
New
what-
Girl?
yeah.
It's
New
good.
Girl's excellent.
It's very good.
It's
very
excellent.
funny. It's kind of like I've always compared it to where like How I Met Your Mother is the Neil Patrick Harris show. That show is like the Schmidt show.
Yeah, the Schmidt show. Yeah.
because he is the character you laugh the most at.
Yes.
He's so funny, and him and Jake Johnson.
Nick.
I do love a good Jake Johnson role.
They
The-
fucking like.
They're like bromance buddy.
Yeah,
thing, you know,
they do. They
yeah.
clearly are good improvers. So they have
Yeah.
scenes where they just cut to them improving, and they're very funny. Like it's a very funny blooper reel.
Jake's
too, if
like
you
the
ever watch.
geek, and then Zach's the attractive
They're all
one,
kind of
right?
geeky.
They're-
and
yeah,
weird,
they're all
and
their
But
own.
Zach's the most attractive of
He
them.
well,
both.
he
Well,
thinks he is.
He thinks he is.
Oh,
That's kind of
okay.
the joke in it, where he's like
Yeah.
very cocky and confident, and like very, very Neil Patrick Harris. Actually,
Yeah.
I'd say, and how
It's honestly a great show.
It's a great cast.
The dynamic, and you think it's going to be about Jess, like about
Yeah.
the girl, but it's not. It's more about the guys, I think. Like,
Yeah.
more about the roommates. And
Well, yeah,
Right,
but
especially
she's the
after
lead
season
though,
one.
and how it's her interacting through life.
I
with
would
them,
say by
essentially,
season
right?
5, things start to get a little less interesting because she got pregnant, and I think they had to write around a lot of that.
they did.
You
I'm-
can tell. I personally can tell at least.
I'm going to say that when they brought
Megan Fox.
Fox on the show, everybody was like, people don't like Megan Fox. And I don't
I
understand
don't mind-
why.
I don't mind Megan Fox.
She is hilarious.
She was really good on that
She
show.
was so funny. Her comedic timing was
Yeah.
excellent.
She got it, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
she was like the right character for it.
Yeah.
You know, like I was like, oh yeah, they kind of made sense. Like how
She's
they,
like the exact opposite of Jess. Like Jess
Exactly.
is like this very like bubbly,
Yeah.
like
she was
I
just,
rock a lot of polka dots is one of her lines,
Yeah.
right? And then like Megan Fox is like Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Like whatever the opposite of like your like bouncy friendly girl next door is like this.
When
like,
Toe Thumb shows up.
yeah, so it's great. I love it.
What about you, Ian?
fuck, I'm gonna keep going generic, but like The Office is like
That's
a
okay.
background
We
noise.
started the show with generic.
Yeah,
Like
The
yeah,
Office.
like right. The Office is like one of those background noises. Like I don't realize how much I've even digested it over the years because it's one of those ones I didn't realize how many times I've watched it. Because I just have because like especially when it was on air still, I would rewatch the other old seasons because you'd finish like season 4 and it'd be like, I feel like going back and rewatching them again. And, you would do that. You'd like finish the latest season and go back and rewatch all the other ones because you're craving it.
Is it just the straight up dopamine dump
It's
from the
dopamine dump.
laughter, or is it because that you emote to New Girl or Gilmore Girls or Simpsons? Like, is there something that goes a little deeper than just a good chuckle in the background?
There has to be because there's shows that make me laugh that don't bring me back.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know, but I can't say what the difference is necessarily. But the shows that bring me back are the ones where it's where I connect with the characters.
Yeah.
Like where I understand them, I can see myself and my friends in them, or that I've watched them at a time in my life where my brain was forming. You
Yeah.
know, and like my personality,
Like Buffy.
Okay.
like Buffy or Gilmore Girls, and my personality was partially developed out of like emulating those characters.
Yeah, same. So that's why the OC, like I always said, like Seth Cohen was like very much my like who I became like at a certain point because I was very already kind of him in a lot. I was a very fast talker, pop culture reference guy, and then I was like I listened to indie music, he listened to me, and it really like shaped who me. I started dressing more like him.
Yeah,
you know?
I was
Definitely.
Anna,
Your style icons are
I was
your-
always
yeah.
trying to emulate like Anna, the like little funky, like quirky,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, it's like having a friend in the room when you have your favorite movie or
Yeah.
TV show
Yeah,
on, right?
for sure.
Because your personality was moved by it,
Yeah.
and you remember it, and you quote it,
Yep.
and it's in your tool belt, and it's you defend it.
Yep.
And
Absolutely. You can look at my style choices and stuff from a kid, and you can be like, "Oh, she watched Buffy. Like that girl is trying to be
Yeah,
Faith."
I was very much trying to be Xander a
Oh,
lot.
I was trying to be Faith,
Yeah.
like through and through.
I was trying to be AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
I was trying to date AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
There you
So
go.
there you go.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's some outside of Lost. There's some stuff that will make you feel good.
Yeah.
But if you're like me and you like a little depression to feel better, I mean, whatever. Neurodivergence for the win.
Leftovers.
That would also be Time. That's cut. That was the last shot
That's
of the
it.
day. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I gotta go figure out how to rave now.
Yeah, right. How are you gonna? That's what we were talking about pre-show. Everybody is that Emily's got a bachelorette to go to that turns from a adulting night into a rave.
And I'm not sure how to dress, except that I think if I put something really tight and sparkly underneath, and then maybe I put a nice like cocktail dress on top, and then it's like the grown-up rave version of like tearaway pants, where I just like throw my dress off and I'm
Yeah.
ready to dance all night.
It's baggy and soft. You should go. The
I
other
just
way.
remember raves were like big
Sparkly,
baggy,
baggy and soft.
like neon pants, like neon bright pink yellow pants
I feel like
that were huge and baggy, and then you had neon bracelets.
we're gonna have glow sticks and
Yeah, but like the true ravers, like if you went home and Googled 90s ravers, do that.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
the look. I know the look. No, that's not what I'm going for. I'm going for like hot girl dance rave. I
Hot
think.
girl
Are you going for
summer.
Coachella?
Maybe
That
like
kinda sounds like
hot
it.
girl summer. Yeah. I mean,
Bonnaroo?
like my life.
Shambhala. You're trying to
I'm
go
doing
Shambhala.
I'm going Shambhala.
No,
Right.
I know exactly what you should do. You should Google Tomorrowland and go from that.
I'm like, really, what's happening is my life is a suburban house mom, like with an executive job most of the time. So tonight, I'm just gonna like be.
Tonight
I'm
I
gonna
get to
be
be
the rave.
anyone.
I will be the rave. I am the rave.
She's gonna rave,
I'm becoming the rave.
and she can't even tell you where it is because by the time this airs, it'll have already happened. But she doesn't even know
It's
because
a secret.
it's a secret.
I have
Traveling
to-
rave.
I have to find out at the last second.
If it's on a rooftop, please don't go. The combinations of rooftops and drugs are just a bad
Yeah,
idea.
a lot of people on a roof.
If it helps, I don't drink, so it's not like I'm gonna be drunk. But I don't think I'll be in a completely non-altered state of mind, especially if I have to stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning
Right.
somehow.
Speaking of non-altered state of minds, I want to suggest to everybody that they should start watching How to Change Your Mind on Netflix. It's the new psychedelic drug series, which tackles LSD, psilocybin, mescaline, and MDMA,
Interesting.
and positive and negative side effects of both.
Sir,
Just
I
a
don't
very-
do drugs, and I don't appreciate talking about this right now. / if anyone knows where to get all of those things for tonight, that'd be great. For a friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen to the end credit trailer if this is your first time. It explains how to get to know us, how to support us if you liked what you heard. Sorry again for the pops. I'll figure that out. I'm sure it's like there's a noise that's coming out of this machine today that probably wasn't there before. So sorry to everybody who put up with that. And we're going to be at Movies in the Park August 5th, August 19th. We're going to be doing summer double features.
I can't wait for that.
So this is portable, runs off batteries. So we're going to go hang out at Assiniboine Park. So bring Diamond. Everybody can come. We're all just going to sit around on a blanket and put a table up for 4 of us and rotate, talk to people while the movies are on. We're going to have Sing 2 in the Eternals on the 5th. And Spider-Man No Way Home and Moana on the 19th.
Only one of those I like.
If you ordered your merch like right now, you could wear it
Yeah.
to the show, and you could come and show us. So there's my shirt. Actually, everyone has a shirt, but I don't care about these guys. My shirt on our merch store. So if you go and you want to be like, I'm Team Emily, you can go get the Emily shirt.
It's exactly
and
what
then
those
come find
shirts were
me,
made for.
Which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get one, and then we'll all be wearing them together at Assiniboine Park on August 19th, because that's to be fair, that's
that would be fair. It is late in July right now. So.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
And then even by the time they listen to this, because we're not cool enough to do this every week on time, it'll probably have already happened. But about the shirt thing, though, link in the bio, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. I'll have a link to our stuff. Ian's social media channels there. TikTok there with you is there. TikTok Ian with Diamond if you want to see a lot of that. Emily's dodgeball stuff whenever she's doing that shit. Like everybody, you can find everybody's shit by going to a link in the bio if you subscribe to one of those channels. Specifically, go to the shopping channel. There is a sale on right now. There'll probably be another one on, but we get like good sales. Like you can get like a $12 t-shirt. And if you and a bunch of friends want to order stuff, I think it's free shipping over $75. Right. It is the cheapest I could get you, everybody. We're not here to make money. Well, we are, but you know.
Wait, we're supposed to be making money off this?
Yeah.
You guys making money off of this?
Never mind.
Get out of here.
Yeah. That being said, thanks for listening. I've been Michael Petrow.
I'm Ian Bawa.
Emily Clark.
Watch everything. Watch all the content because there's not enough of it. So say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll catch you on the flip side.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, another Real Debaters production is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. If this is your first, second, third, fifth, 20th time, thank you so much. But thank you to the first timers, the ones here who pressed play for the first time and took a gamble on us. If you like what you heard today, the easiest thing to support the show is just to subscribe. Hit the like button, the follow button, whatever's in your podcast player. Make it so that we're always there every Wednesday for you, okay? That would be huge. If you want to stay in touch with us, if you want to follow us, there's a couple ways to do that. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook. We're slowly migrating to YouTube by putting all of the things we've ever put on video onto that site. There's some surprises coming this year that happened a while ago, but I felt needed to be shared because they're part of the Debaterverse. So the YouTube page is coming. But if you want to follow us, it's at Real Debaters Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's the Real Debaters Podcast on TikTok. All of the links, all of the one-click away things are in the show notes that you've just listened to. So if you want to follow us there, that would be great too, because then you get to stay in the know of all the things that we do and what we're going to try to do this year and what we've done in the past, so on and so forth. So that's how you stay in touch with us. If you want to contact us, it's therealdebaters@gmail.com. All the spelling for all these things is REEL to keep with the title of the show. So you can send an email to us there, request an episode, want to call out one of us for being a goofball. There's places to do that as well too, like the Real Debaters website. You can email us, or you can go straight to the website, rate us in Podchaser, it's realdebaters.ca. And if you really, really liked what you heard and you want to support the show in some fashion that requires you spending money, well, we got a couple ways for you to do that as well too. You can buy our merch at the Prop Shop. It's a store through Threadless. and it's online, and you can order stuff. We've got tons of stuff. We've got our Mass Debater wear there. It's our signature, original, and only line. It's our logo on everything. So you can support us that way. Go to the merch tab in the show notes. Or if you just got $1 and you're like, hey, I want to give you $1 and donate it to your cause, there is a tab in the show notes as well, too, that says donate to the Debaterverse, I think. And if you click on that, it takes you to a donation page where you can donate like $1, $3, and $5, and you'll get something for your $1, $3, or $5. Any more than that's just ludicrous. Luda. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I wanted to tell you. That what I said at the end of the show. This is what you should listen to, because this is all about who we are, and now that we've gotten to where we are, we want to interact with you guys more. So these are the ways to do so. This is the way to stay in touch with us. Thank you to everybody, again, who's listened to the show. Again, you pressed play. You took a chance. That's cool. So without further ado, this is where I said I would talk more, so it's eggs on your face. No, I got nothing else for you. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, and watch all them fucking movies. Bye-bye.